First Wonder gets himself straightened out here.
Check, check.
Well, welcome to Radio Loud. I'm your host, Douglas Tiltobert. And joining me today is our usual suspects here. We got Stinky Stefan Weber and Silky Smooth Sean.
Sean fat in the pants and skinny in the slacks. Sullivan.
Oh, so stinky.
So I feel we should preface this. One of the reasons we play music in the background is
So we don't get chapped and screwed.
yeah, pretty much as a mechanism to protect ourselves, so somebody can't take what we're saying and then noticeably edit it without noticeably editing the audio in the background. So we've been working on finding some royalty-free music so YouTube doesn't zap us, so we don't get fucking sued.
And making our own, but that takes time.
Yeah. So a majority of the music this week is from Alex Barbarian. You could check out his SoundCloud at that. He was gracious enough to release a playlist of free-to-use music.
Shout out to you. You're the barbarian in our hearts.
Clink.
You're the real Conan.
Right.
So guys, how was
Destroy your enemies, see them driven before you, and hear the lamentations of the women.
So how was your guys' weeks?
Oh, it's just
been a long one.
absolutely wonderful.
Really?
It wasn't that bad. I mean, it sucked. My fucking arm is like stuck in this like chrysalis, so.
Yeah, I actually ended up breaking the forearm there. What a travesty.
Baba ganoush. Baba booyah. Got all my audio settings all worked out so everyone gets to hear the lovely dulcet tones of me in addition to myself. And I.
That tenor tone.
All right, so now it's you, me, and Dupree. What do we got on the docket today? Well, we're going to talk to you about all sorts of fun shit.
This week I started checking out the Netflix reboot of Lost in Space.
How was that for you?
It was fucking actually really, really good.
Did you get lost in the cinematography?
I got lost in the space. It was cool how they like, spoiler alert,
I hope you didn't plan on watching it.
it was cool how they incorporated the robot into it. I won't go too far if you guys plan on watching it. But I thought it was a good response to the latest Star Trek series, as far as like a sci-fi. It was like a cool like adventure series based with like a lot of like science in between it. They try and like ground it in what scientifically might happen. They had like this cool like death scenario where they were like they crash landed on a glacier, and the heat of their engines like essentially melted them into it and created a pool of water, and it's gonna freeze over, and that's like
They'd be trapped.
and yeah, they'll be fucked essentially.
Did they get out?
They like
Nope, they all die. It's only 22 minutes.
Well,
It's a
maybe it was like
it's
another
a great show.
Maybe it was like another escape pod or something. I don't know.
they played it in where is like coming in hot. They like open up a vein of magnesium, and that like reacts. It like you light magnesium, expose it to. Is it water or ice? It burns.
Oh, I'm not a chemist.
Yeah, me neither.
I'm just the stinky guy in the corner.
Never had interest in chemistry.
That would be one to ask.
Dude, that shit is so
My
complicated.
SO. She's a chemist.
Yeah, dude. Well, no, she's not.
Freshwater
She's not a
sciences, man.
chemist.
She's got
She's
a 98% on
biologist.
her last exam. So
Biology and
She's
chemistry.
your little chemist.
Yeah, do you ever come home in a sexy little lab coat?
It's got chemicals on it.
I feel like I
and
just planted a new little idea in your head. Like, come on, baby, give me those thick rim glasses.
You get some fucking like chemicals on your dick and inadvertently.
And that's how Stefan got superpowers. He is the amazing penis.
I just want like Ant-Man powers.
That's just how he got fucking.
But it would only
flesh
be only your
burns.
dick that would get those powers because
be
it would
huge all the
chemicals.
time.
Well, it'd be Ant-Man, so you'd be able to shrink it to the size of an ant's penis.
No, Ant-Man gets to grow too. He can.
Oh, I
grow
saw
course
this fucking
short.
hot theory why the last movie didn't even have to worry. They're like, dude, fucking all Ant-Man had to do was crawl up Thanos' butthole and then go to regular size. Fucking movie over.
Just fucking rips
I love
apart
Ant-Man.
Thanos
I can't wait
from
for the new
butt.
movie.
A bunch of people have just been like, oh, what's the point of it now even? It's like, I don't know, just imagine that hasn't happened yet. I wonder if that is going to be chronological.
I mean, I don't know. It's one of those things, though, that you're never going to get that in comic books. And people, because super fandom exists about stuff, they want that perfect continuity in fiction with made-up powers where they can bend time and space. And you want to go, oh, well, actually, due to the time travel in episode 214, I bet he could just actually undo everything that's ever happened in this series. So why did we even make a show? Basically,
well, I mean,
fuck
that's
you
why they
people.
nerfed Scarlet Witch, apparently. I haven't seen her in the new movies, but she's like... she's the most powerful superhero.
No,
hands
we
down.
should have every
She can make like
movie-
parallel universes and shit at a whim.
Every movie ends with Dr. Manhattan showing up. Big blue dick still hanging out. He can bend time, space, matter, and travel the multiverse. I'm talking at the end of like
I feel like
Scary
you just
Movie
want
3.
a
Like,
kaleidoscopic blue penis film for an hour and a half where it's just kaleidoscoping around a blue penis. I feel like that's what you're honestly asking for.
Dude, I'm talking, we'll go and retcon old movies. The end of Casablanca, we'll have an added in-color scene where Dr. Manhattan shows up, fucking butt-ass naked, and they'll, like, splice, like, fucking Bogart into certain parts of it just to make him react like, wow.
I feel like this movie, it's impossible to not have it spoiled for you if you have a pulse. Just because, like, everybody's fucking seen it. The memes are out in force.
Literally, I don't
I don't know what it's about. I don't pay
Me
attention.
neither. That's the
If you've
thing.
been on Facebook at all, it's just been fucking disintegration
have one of
memes.
those.
Disintegration
Oh
memes.
yeah, the disintegration stuff.
Yeah.
I'm guessing that's how the bad guy dies. Disintegrates.
No.
I'm sure that's how Thanos kills somebody. Thanos isn't about to disappear. Right?
He does more than kill somebody.
Yeah, Thanos is their dark side. He's not going anywhere.
Honestly, I feel like Thanos is like the first villain in like a lot of the movies lately where people actually like remember or know who the fuck he is. Because if you go to like Iron Man 3 or 2 or Ant-Man,
Oh yeah.
who's the bad guy? You don't fucking remember. Who was the bad guy at the end of Doctor Strange? You know?
Cthulhu.
Basically. No, well, I mean, that's the thing is, to be fair, no one really knows the bad guys of anybody outside of like Superman and Batman lore.
Even that. Oh man, I've been
Well,
loving.
I know the villain in the Captain America movies because I'm a Captain America fan.
But that's
You
what I'm
got Red
saying.
Skull,
The average person.
You got Hydra, who's like overreaching into other
Red
Avengers
Skull
stuff.
even made an appearance in Infinity War.
Really? What did he do?
I don't know, something.
Then you have Crossbones. That guy's pretty cool. You have Deathstroke, though. That's DC.
One of the things I heard, like,
the
overarching
less-
about it is that with all the fucking characters in it, the amount of characters in it, they managed to not turn it into an incongruent clusterfuck.
Well, that's props to them.
Apparently, they were able to separate out the
Well, they probably
subplots
just made
enough.
teams, didn't they?
Right. Probably. I don't know. I
They
haven't
probably
seen it.
just made like two
I
short
think maybe we should all
superhero
just go
movies.
see this movie.
Right. I kind of want to
'Cause-
see it.
I'm
Because-
still
I
trying
wanna
to go
see-
see the new Wes Anderson movie, the animated one, Isle of Dogs.
Isle of Dogs. I already saw that.
But it's not. But it's not playing in a lot of theaters late. A lot
Yeah, I
of them
still
will,
gotta
like
see
wrap
that.
it up at 5, from what
Right.
I've seen.
I went like straight out of work with my pops and had to go to fucking Mequon.
Yeah, that's where I was.
I want to
looking
go.
at it.
I want to see that too. I want to see Isle of Dogs. I want to see Infinity Wars because there'll be some good talking. And I want to see Ant-Man and the Wasp when it comes out.
I really want to see Solo too. Like,
Yeah.
I like Dong Lover. He's funny.
Yeah, I do. Honestly, I feel like really confident about it now because Ron Howard was talking about it, and the guy who wrote The Empire Strikes Back.
Oh, no shit.
Lesser known fact. So
That's cool.
And apparently they had this idea for the fleshing out of the flick. The writer wrote it in part with his son. This guy who wrote it's been involved with like 4 other Star Wars movies, and basically like Lucas and them had this kind of idea fleshed out already.
Cool.
With Kathleen Kennedy, I think that's her name. She's one of the execs behind a lot of the new Star Wars flicks.
I'm a little nervous about her, but I don't really know what her total involvement is. I don't know. I just want Star Wars to be to reawaken that feeling inside me again.
Right.
That's all I want. That's all I want.
Not gonna happen.
It could happen.
Nope.
It will.
Nope.
I'm not gonna let you dash that hope.
Oh, I'm not going to. Disney will.
Yeah.
Yeah, and today is May the 4th, and I'm so glad nobody fucking said that to me in real life, so I didn't have to call them a fucking
It's like-
virgin to their face.
The weird thing is though,
Because you
we
would
did
have-
see
I
a
don't think
guy.
you would have
We
a
did
problem
see a
with
guy at the grocery store dressed up like a Jedi.
Oh, Jesus.
But it's definitely like pushed way more this year than it ever has
Yes,
been in the past because
absolutely.
Disney is now at the helm. But in the past, it was just, oh, it's May the 4th. It's just kind of something you'd shoot at the fellow Star Wars fan.
Yeah, I
But
mean,
now it was on like the Today Show. It was just like, it's Star Wars Day today.
it's almost like
Porgs are
it's almost
falling
like
from the ceilings.
it's almost like Disney owns half of the media in America.
Yeah.
I saw
know.
this great satirical headline that said, how to know 6 reasons to tell if the Darth Vader nesting in your attic is the real Darth Vader.
Oh, good old Darth. Where's my Vader movie? Fuck
It's
Solo.
called 1, 2, and 3. You fucking idiot.
Like, I feel if they have to, if
no.
they're gonna do that, I feel
That's
like
a shitty Skywalker. I want a Vader movie.
they would need to get James Earl Jones on that stat, because whose voice are you, like, anytime somebody else plays him, you can tell it's just like a little bit off because he's like such an iconic figure that
Is
any little like thing that's wrong with
Is
him, you
Vader
can
in
just
Rebels
tell.
heavy?
He's in it a bunch, but
Not heavy. He's
Not
not the
a ton.
primary. I know
But
Thrawn's
at the
in
same
that.
time, the way technology is progressing,
I'm sure they could just cut it up. That's what I was thinking.
oh
You know
yeah,
what I'm
Adobe has this thing where you can take samples of someone's voice and like literally
basically make them say new stuff. Yeah,
Yeah, you just have to have them read off like a certain
and
like
I can
sheet
almost
of
guarantee you they
language,
have.
and then you can splice
Yeah,
it all
I can almost
together.
guarantee you they have thousands of hours of him recorded speaking that they could select from and probably make. You know, like it's the same way like holograms are still performing for dead rappers and shit, like Tupac the hologram.
Right.
Right?
And in a way,
I just want to
want to
say I hate that so much.
Yeah, it's fucked up.
Let a dead man rest.
right? It's like he has no say or like has even been able to evaluate the artistic integrity of what his
of
name's
that.
being slapped on, essentially.
I found it deeply disturbing the
Right,
first
you
time
were,
I saw
like,
that
you were no
shit.
longer a person; you are now a brand.
What was Tarkin's, the actor's name? Peter Cushing? Something like that? I do feel like they did that very tastefully in Rogue One.
It looked good. He had like what, a line of dialogue, or he just had one visual appearance.
But like the character was completely unchanged, I feel. It was just a one-to-one.
Well, that's easy to do when there's only one one line or whatever he had. Yep, Peter Cushing. I think you got that one right. Yeah, it sure looks like him. Yep, Grand Moff Tarkin. You nailed it.
Wow, this guy's Star Wars is. He wars stars.
Well, he was also like a really prominent actor, so my dad was like really familiar with him.
So I don't know if you guys recall this, but a long time ago we had a
galaxy
discussion
far,
about
far away?
Tremors. We had a discussion
Oh,
about
yeah.
Tremors.
Another one
Tremors
came out.
5 just
Yeah.
came out. The movie. I was
Six on
excited.
Netflix.
Six. Yeah,
Six.
Arctic something.
That's what I was
Jamie
saying.
Kennedy's
They-
back
Yeah,
in it?
I watched
they
it
don't even
last
put
night.
numbers
How
on
was
them
it?
anymore.
How was it? Do
I
tell. Do
loved
tell.
it.
Ooh, ooh, ooh.
I loved it. I loved it so much.
Was it better than the last one?
Yes, it was better than the last one. Although Burt Gummer doesn't drench himself in his own urine, which was
In the
a
middle
lot.
of a desert?
Yeah, which was a loss, but I still really enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun. It's just a buddy action party romper.
I was trying so hard because I knew that was going to come up. I was trying to do, for suggestion box, a write where it was like Bert and Reba's divorce situation, like the finer details of something like that.
I gotta say, watching the movie, I kind of had an aversion to Jamie Kennedy, but in the movie, I liked him.
Well, that's because he's probably he's beyond like his like big Jamie Kennedy push. You know?
Yeah.
They tried to sell Jamie Kennedy and
we didn't buy
Jamie
it.
Kennedy was not happening. It's like, stop trying to make fetch happen. It's not happening.
Yeah. No, we were actually talking about that earlier, and how they really shot him in pretty much every media platform and format they could. Like, he had Malibu's Most Wanted, and that was as much
He
as
had the mask.
Dude, Malibu Most Wanted came up at work this week because I was trying to explain
It's
somebody
a
like
goddamn classic.
the concept of like wanksters living in rural America, essentially like the ghetto fabulous Colgate resident.
Yeah, exactly.
That's like straight up like taking that culture, but when you know the person, they're actually kind of a little bit racist still.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and honestly, like, so much of that just comes from ignorance, because there are literally communities who've, like, never not seen anybody who doesn't look like them.
Well, I would say in, like, the Colgate situation, it's, like, the one-off, but you definitely have a few of those, like...
Oh, yeah. Well, people
rural
are just...
thugs. Like, I've
Yeah.
heard of the suburban thug, but the rural thug is just...
Yeah, dude.
Just
It's like
something
those,
that...
It's like the British wanksters. They're the absolute worst.
Like good old Ali G and that whole situation.
Yeah, Ali G's definitely dumping on it. And I
Yeah,
love
like
those
that's
movies.
what he's saying.
I'm surprised they didn't do
Martin
an.
Freeman was in there, and one of my crushes, Rona Mitra.
I'm surprised they didn't do an Ali G, Jamie Kennedy, Malibu's Most Wanted crossover.
I think Sacha Baron is above working with Jamie Kennedy.
I was hoping you'd say that.
I think that's pretty much just a fact.
I don't understand to work with this man. I don't know. I don't know how Ali G would say that.
Apparently, he's been kind of like ousted too. I wanted to see that one thing.
As being the greatest singer of all time.
Oh, he's such a good singer.
He is, though.
He did this one thing where it was like he was like the fuck up brother, and his brother was like a super spy.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know what the name of the movie is, but I
remember that though.
I kind of wanted to see it.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
I know exactly what movie you're talking about. I will look it up real quick.
It's called like The Brothers something.
His brother's a super spy, and he's the fuck up loser brother.
It was the bad guy from the first Sherlock Holmes movie with.
This movie
With
came out
RDJ?
this movie came out years ago too. It's not a newer movie. It came out maybe 3 or 4 years ago.
Yeah, Sacha Baron's one of those guys who, like, I don't really, like, follow him or, like, notice when he's in new movies, but he'll randomly show up in shit I'm watching, and it's always just like,
You were like,
oh,
wow.
this motherfucker.
This dude's got some sort of deep take talent.
Oh, yeah, I forgot he was in Talladega Nights. He was the fucking
He was the
like,
rival.
French, yeah.
Antagonist.
I love crabs.
He was in Eastbound and Down too. And Anchorman.
I can't do a French accent, so whenever I try to do it, I just think, how would I say it if I had shit shoved in my mouth?
Okay, I'm trying to find this, and I don't remember this movie coming out before Sweeney Todd or Bruno, so I must have missed
Oh,
it.
it's Hugo, I think.
It's Hugo?
Yeah.
Let's bring it up here.
Situation, it's right there. Situation Inspector. As I think literally his...
No.
Oh, yep, nope.
No, that's not it.
Whatever.
Ah, fuck it.
Yeah, fuck it.
It's not that important.
All right, so we got some juicy news this week, huh?
Yeah,
Oh, so much juicy news.
I don't know if you've heard about this one. Local superintendent is picked up for pooping in a football field.
Serial pooper. He's been doing it
It wasn't
repeatedly.
local, it was New Jersey.
Yeah, it was
think.
New Jersey.
Well, it's somebody's local.
Right.
If you're living in New
it was
Jersey,
the
it
the best.
applies to
I think
you.
my favorite part about that article though was it had a link to their original article when he was voted into office, and it was a unanimous pass that he would become superintendent.
Yeah, no, he
They loved him.
So what? Here's
I have a
here's
picture
what
of this
it
guy in front of me. He looks
Oh,
like
he's
the fucking
deer in
liquid
headlights.
metal fucking Terminator.
The T-1000.
Oh, 100%. No, but so he's been doing this for like weeks at this place, and you know they're finding it like every day, just like a fresh dump every morning when they fucking open up the school. You know, whoever the football coaches shows up, and obviously they like call the school resource officer and shit and shit. Ha 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 ha. And they like stake it out, and there's like a cop there for like 2 weeks staking it out, and they like can't catch this person. And finally they catch him at like, you know, it's like 5:50 in the morning, and he's out.
I'll let you continue that.
And he's out there. They arrest him, obviously, like, and you know, like they charge him with lewdness and littering. And they're like, we don't know what he was doing out there, but we charged him with this and this. And it's like, what do you mean you don't know what he's doing out there?
I know. They know exactly what he did because
Yeah.
he shit and then he ran around the track. He did his morning run.
That's why he would do it. He would just he just wouldn't even bother to go to the
Yeah.
He just shit there.
No,
They
but the
got
thing
him
is,
while he
that's-
was
it
running.
wasn't
They
in
let him
his
finish his
district.
lap.
It was like it was
They
at
let
like
him
this,
finish his lap.
Did they
No,
really?
it was at his school.
No, it wasn't.
School he was superintendent of.
No, it definitely wasn't.
You want me to bring up the news story?
Yeah, I do. challenge.
I got the news story here.
You got it up. It was his district school.
Hey, we should have a challenge the facts fucking soundbite.
And the
Just
movie,
like, ding,
the
ding.
Sacha Baron Cohen movie, is called The Brothers Grimsby. I just didn't think that was the actual name of it, but that is the name of it.
Yeah, no, like it was like the neighboring school that he like. It was like their rival or some shit. It was like if we went over and dumped on Homestead and took a lap and was like, "Fuck Homestead."
No, he was running laps. He was running laps on his own school.
No, it was. That's the thing. It wasn't his own school.
There were definitely some comments about.
Okay, yeah, it is the other school. The Kenwell School superintendent was caught in the act at the Hamdel High School football field.
Yeah, it was like it's like the rivalry because
He lives about 3 miles from the Hamdel School in a neighboring Aberdeen, and he was running the track
you
on the
kidding me?
athletic fields at 5:50.
You got me. I can't believe that.
That just makes it so much better.
Yeah, dude. Like so
This
he's
man is a hero now.
right. So here's the best part is like he's gonna like basically maybe get a slap on the wrist, a fine. Like you can't really get in that much trouble for taking
Are
a
they
shit.
going to keep him on the on board?
and you know that like his focus is gonna be like, yeah, fuck them.
But yeah, he was running at the track and the athletic fields at
That guy's
5:50
going- that
before he
guy's
was
going
arrested.
nowhere,
Doesn't
So
that guy
he
look
did
like
his
the
shit.
T-1000?
Yeah, he did his shit and then he ran his laps and then he got arrested. So they watched him shit and then let him run.
and then picked him up.
Just let him tire himself out.
Fucking great.
I don't want him pooping in the car.
It's like, yeah, I don't want to fucking like. I don't want to chase down a man who is ready to do this. Just let him spend his energy first, like a toddler. It's just like let him run up and down the hills a bit.
He'll tire himself out.
I thought-
and then we'll just scoop him right up and take him to bed.
I thought for sure it was at his school because I'd seen a couple comments where it was just like, oh man, wouldn't it be great if he had crapped at a rival school? But he actually did.
Yeah.
You know what?
It's all right.
I give you the pass.
Stefan don't read good.
Stinky Stefan gives it a pass.
Give me a- That's not how
Next
this
time, no,
works.
don't ever fucking do that. Somebody did that at our work once.
Making
We had a
somebody
serial
else
pooper
pick
at
up your
work.
feces is gross,
Spreading
people.
it around.
Wipe your own ass, people.
Shit,
it is not
shit in
that
somebody's
hard.
cubicle.
Oh yeah. Explain this one. I've heard it, but explain it for the listeners.
Yeah, I think we've already said it on air, but go ahead.
Uh-uh.
Stefan.
No, it was probably in a dry run episode.
Oh, okay. Well, this is a fun.
I want-
No, go for it.
I want you to take the reins on this one.
All right.
Because we were about to Sean and Burton Guster this motherfucker.
Okay.
We were going to bust him out.
All right. So there is a particular engineer there who's a very, he's one of those like fucking dynasties at a place where it's like, oh, my dad worked here. We've been around forever. I'm a grown ass man. I've worked here for 45 years. This guy literally thinks this place is his house. So he's a pretty brusque individual. Gets short.
He
with
likes
people,
ribbon.
rips
I don't
lot of
have a
people.
problem with him.
I mean, that's the thing. I never really had an issue with him because I know how to do my fucking job. And would you look at that? Most people don't have an issue with you at work if you're like that. But he rubbed a lot of people the wrong fucking way.
As engineers tend to do.
Yeah, and he was one of the few like old school hands-on engineers you'd actually see like getting his hands dirty and going, "Why the fuck did you design this? Didn't you come down here and look at this?" So
Well, he didn't necessarily. I feel you. He got a lot of blame for stuff that wasn't necessarily his fault, and he was a gruff individual.
Yeah, but anyway, one day there is discovered to be
We're hand in hand, skipping down the aisle. and a friend stops in front of us. Have you heard the news?
What is the news, friend?
Would you like to know more?
Someone has laid a deuce in said man's cubicle.
It's like,
What did you say?
And this is not like
What did you say?
And here's the thing: it's not like in the morning where it's like somebody like came in early and like dropped a deuce and like scurried
Like he'd
off.
already sat down for the morning,
like-
done his thing,
like,
came
went
back.
off to a meeting and then
he
came back
literally
and there
went
was
to
his shit.
went to his like 9 or 10 o'clock morning meeting, and when he came back an hour later, there was a fresh turd there. Like, and he had his office out on like the manufacturing floor.
It could have been anybody.
Like it could have been anybody.
Right.
So
I guess that's smart. So like when it's busy, you go in there, you can't pin who it was.
Dude, for real though, and like there was just like there's not cameras in that one little line, and there's
Yeah.
just so much traffic back and forth.
It could have been anyone.
So we dubbed
Whoever
him
the suspect was thought this out.
that. I mean, definitely.
Yeah.
Some of our theories.
My theory
included,
was
yeah.
he did it in a Tupperware and then brought it to work and then
then
just laid it. Because I can't imagine, pulling down the trowel.
Just like, imagine if they actually put it in like a fucking slow cooker and then put it on their desk, so they would be giving them like a crock of literal shit.
You're a crock of shit.
But we learned
A little French onion soup of poop.
we slowly learned that
Even
there
put
was
some
other
cheese on
incidents
it.
around the building.
Yeah,
From
dude, it's been
double-decked
happening.
bathrooms and some other stuff.
We're talking like some cave paintings in one of the bathroom stalls, if you catch my drift.
Disturbing facts, to say the least. Although, not totally surprised by some of the etiquette that I'd witnessed going on in this building.
Some heathens.
I
man.
feel like every place
But-
that has a bathroom that somebody else has to clean up has had somebody just go in there and like piss all over the place or like
Right.
spread shit all over the place. It's happened everywhere.
I have some horror stories of that place, but I don't want to go in depth because it's just vile.
We don't-
But
yeah,
the
we don't
best
need to talk
part,
about poop
the
for 30
best part
minutes.
was
30's enough.
was we had a meeting and they pulled everyone together.
Oh, they had to sit us down and talk about it. It was just the floor staff, too. It was basically like, we know one of you lowly, filthy assembler monkeys
The finger was being pointed.
did this. It's fucking disgusting. And if we catch you, we're gonna fire you.
I don't think anyone was caught for that.
They never found him. We did have, though, to be fair, some real good suspects.
Yeah, we did.
And I'm not going to name names because we are journalists with integrity.
Right. We protect the names of the innocent
And the guilty.
and the guilty
And the
until
guilty.
proven
Yeah.
until proven guilty.
So, we will never list your alleged charges, sir or madam. So Chris Brown, if you want to come be a guest of the show, like, come on down, man. Like, let's talk it out. You
So-
piece of shit.
Do you guys think, though, that at this New Jersey high school, the students are going to praise him next week?
He'll be a legend in school.
Right.
Just this guy, like the football team loves him.
I mean, it's
He
fucking
shit on
New
their
Jersey. I think he'll be all right.
Yeah, that's true.
Did you know he makes $150,000 a year doing that job?
Christ.
Yeah, that was the craziest part to that.
Yeah, that was the most fucked up part
I mean,
of that story.
I'm sorry. Did you see his credentials, though?
No.
He was a part-time lecturer at Rutgers,
Rutgers?
and like... Okay, here's the link to the article of him being actually hired.
All right, that's cool. I don't really give a shit about this guy.
I have another one that happened in New Jersey.
Okay, let's stay. We are now officially changing our names to New Jersey Radio.
Okay, so a woman was kicked out from McDonald's for breastfeeding her dog.
Dog. Oh, I thought I was going dog.
Is
That
New
was my
Jersey
mistake.
becoming
for
Florida?
$1 million.
Oh, it's Ben, I
New
think.
Jersey woman.
At McDonald's?
Yeah, there's the Florzy man and the Florida man and the New Jersey woman.
Is she get kicked out of a McDonald's or like a what?
A woman was expelled
George
from
Webb's?
McDonald's for breastfeeding her 3-week-old puppy.
At
And
her
she
own
is-
tit.
She is suing the
How
fast
old is
food
this woman?
restaurant
You got a
chain for
picture?
$1 million. No.
Jesus.
I don't think she's going to win.
Could you imagine that though? It's like you just look over at somebody. There's like some swaddled cloths or something. It's like, oh, she's just breastfeeding her baby.
It's got a cold, wet nose and hair everywhere.
It's just like
I'm real confused. Were there drugs involved?
no. But,
Is there mental health issues
49
involved?
states, the District of Columbia, and the Virgin Islands have laws that specifically allow for women to breastfeed in any public or private location.
But not a puppy.
I don't.
But apparently it
It's not
doesn't say that in the
specified.
law.
But here's the thing. I bet you
you can't-
breastfeeding has a very specific definition in legally somewhere, and I bet you she did not really think this out.
Yeah, Sean isn't going to be able to just go breastfeed in a McDonald's.
Just
off
imagine
of
if
some
that's
chick.
what it was. Like
Right,
it was
men can-
premedicated, where they're like they read exactly what
Sean-
it said.
Sean
She
can't
was
live
gonna
out his
go in,
baby fetish in a
breastfeed-
McDonald's.
breastfeed the puppy, and then knowingly have them come after her for that. So we're like, well, we could sue you on the technicality now.
I think you are giving this New Jersey woman far,
I know,
far
I
too
know.
much credit. I do not think the lady breastfeeding her dog has necessarily poured through the legal texts. This is what it takes. Because I feel like at that point you'd just like, go use that knowledge to do something else. Besides let a dog.
You're just an idle lawyer exploiting the system. You hire her. She's you slip her a 50.
And she teaches you how to commit fraud.
Well, I want to segue into this next one.
All right, let's do it. Is it from New Jersey?
This is
'Cause if
about
not, we're not
dating,
doing
and you
it.
might maybe get matched up with this woman from New Jersey because she might have the same interests as you in private. Although,
This is another legit New Jersey woman.
no. No, this is Facebook answering privacy concerns a week later with possibly making a matchmaking app.
Right.
By using all that crap they harvested off you to make long-lasting relationships.
But don't you
Quotes.
want to see if Jennifer from high school is actually your perfect
Soulmate?
soulmate? No, not really. She was kind of.
But
a
you
bitch.
could get matched up with New Jersey woman. She might have the same web browsing history as you.
Oh, she's into that weird butt thing I like too.
Right.
Oh, that's fucked. Of course, but everybody's so curious.
Right.
Like,
Absolutely.
I want to know your shit, but I don't want anybody to know my shit.
Like, we just went through one of those things with Sarah Ha, where you could like
Oh yeah,
you could
yep.
message somebody anonymously completely and tell them like whatever the fuck you wanted.
I bet that led to a lot of great conversations.
And then
I'm sure no woman was ever brutally sexually harassed.
it
Yeah.
was the most brilliant phishing scheme afterwards. People started playing on it and just like mass spamming people where it's like, you can go to this website, just put in your information and find out who actually said this stuff about you. And it was just like phishing stuff every single time. So people would just get sucked into it.
Jesus Christ.
And their fucking credentials right over.
Jesus Christ, that's right.
But I remember seeing one of those and I was like, oh,
Scam!
It's almost like I mean, I don't know. I think spam's pretty easy to spot.
I know it is. The one of the things that
I mean, long
spammers-
gone are majority of the days of Nigerian princes. Now it's British millionaires.
the
but
Nigerian
it's-
prince thing was specifically designed to like root out the suckers who would like call them on the bullshit. The intent was to filter out the
you
people
make
who would
it
actually get
so
it.
stupid
That only the stupid people.
are there, and then
Yeah.
it's like, oh, he's dumb enough to actually come wire me like $1,000. Because that's the thing is they end up just fucking taking anything. And there was a really I've seen YouTube videos of it because every time around tax season, basically you get all those fucking fake calls, just like, oh, there's a problem with your tax thing. You need to send us a $600 iTunes gift card, otherwise we're gonna go arrest you.
I actually saw an article about somebody who saw how deep the rabbit hole could possibly go.
Oh,
Just
I
when
did
they were
so-
on the phone, they're just like, okay, I'll go with it. What do you need me to do? Well, can you go to Walgreens and buy like $50, $25 iTunes
right,
gift cards?
right,
And he's
yeah, I
like,
saw that.
okay. But he played it off as if he was so dumb he couldn't figure out how to
Right.
do all this stuff until the telemarketer or spammer switched him over to
the manager.
their boss,
Yeah,
their
basically.
quote-unquote headmaster.
I can guarantee you that
And the
place is
headmaster
just a
eventually
call
was just-
center in India.
Yeah, the headmaster eventually was just, fuck it. This guy's so dumb. Just played so dumb.
No, I mean,
But yeah, they wanted you to wire them iTunes gift cards because they're like untraceable or some kind of gift card.
I
What a mess.
remember when my mom got her first Kindle Fire Pad because nobody talked her out of it. That was the one she wanted.
okay.
We showed her Pandora, and there's all those advertisements on it. And
Yeah.
like the
Don't click
you
those.
won the contest thing popped up. She's like, oh, I won something. And we had to like do like a good 5 minutes worth. It was like, no, that's
Hold her hand,
Time,
show her how to
time
use
for
the
your
internet.
safety training course on the internet.
And then, like one of the hot singles things popped up. She's
Yeah.
like, ooh, who's this?
I always loved that. I don't know about your guys' home
That's
life, but
so
I always had
beautiful
that at
and
home
innocent.
where the parents were just, your games are giving us computer viruses.
Yep.
And then you look how they handle the internet.
Right.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
Right?
Like,
Me
with the-
downloading Warcraft 3 did
that
not
giving the
ruin
virus?
this computer.
The
You're
absolute
clicking every ad. gave
the
us a
absolute
virus.
abuse. I put my computer that I use mainly at home, like straight up, I'd fucking just like subject that thing to a bunch of stuff, and it's like literally the older folks at work going to political websites who are getting viruses and just getting their shit. Just like winding up with AGV automatically installed at their homepage isn't going to the right one. Why is it doing this?
Yeah. Why do I have 16 different browser or search bars at the top of my phone?
I feel like that hasn't been a thing for like a while now. Like I'd say it's been a good like 5 to 7 years since that was like really a prominent thing. I remember going back
still
to shipping department.
You know what,
Dude,
though? I have a
it still
good practical
definitely
joke for you.
happens.
Those people should replace those computers by now.
I have a good practical joke for you that we used to do to people at work and at school. You guys are probably already aware of this. Just screenshot the desktop, make it the background, and delete all the
icons.
all the icons, and then you lock the toolbar.
I remember for a brief while in my senior year in high school, which was like 2007, they had all the shit, just like the Flash game websites on lockdown, so kids couldn't get to it.
Yep, blocked
Remember when you
everything
could get
labeled
to Newgrounds,
games or
though?
But
entertainment.
Google made it so you could make your own homepage, and you could put all the Flash games on your homepage. So you just like sign into your Google account, all your shit would fucking pop up, just like like Trial Bike right on the Google homepage. My buddy next to me had a fucking pet digital fish named Tupac. He would be feeding everything.
Tupac.
I love it. I love it. I love it.
I did definitely not have that tech savvy in school, and we just found websites that
Were
not effectively labeled with games and
Yeah.
still had Flash games.
I did
on
the
them.
same thing. I remember Newgrounds wasn't blocked there for a real tiny bit, though.
I feel like Newgrounds might have done something awesome with their marketing, like not label their website on games on purpose so it could slide through filters.
Yeah.
Because I feel like that's like a brilliant marketing idea. Just like, oh, kids in school can play this. Fuck you.
In middle school, I was fortunate enough to have a homeroom in a computer lab, and the teacher who was doing it, he was like a temporary teacher. He was like, he would just sub sometimes. He did not give a fuck what we did. He would like literally let us have like class-wide room Oregon Trail races, where he would just like say, okay, on your mark, get set, go, and everybody would start the Oregon
Those
Trail
are
at
the
the
best-
same time. We
those
would
are
have
the
like
best
20
guys,
people
though.
doing it. Yeah.
Just a little extra break in your day.
A shout out to all the substitute teachers out there doing the hardest fucking inconsistent job in the world.
Had him for
Shout
homeroom.
out to the ones that gave the kids just another break.
Dude, for
Homeroom and
real?
study hall. I remember he was telling me about this band Guttermouth, and just like, I wasn't really into them or whatever,
punk
and I was
band,
like,
right?
oh yeah, they were a punk
Yeah.
band, and I was like, oh yeah, I'd like to check them out. You should burn me a CD of it. He's like, oh no, I can't do that. Like, you get it. So then one day he hands me a CD. He's like, oh, you forgot this in the machine over there. Like, and I was like, no, I didn't. He's like, I think you did. I was like, no, I didn't. So he was like, I think you did.
He's trying.
And then I was like, oh, right. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Say no more. Say no more. Took that CD home. I was like, this sucks.
those suck.
But fucking,
Did you make it
that
to
guy
the,
is just a champ.
Did you make it to the last track with the audio of him masturbating?
I wasn't really into like, it was like pop punk or
This
it's
one's
just
for
like
you, Doug.
he's just like whispering in my ears subtly. He was like really smart though. He would like try and sit us down and teach us like the ins and the basics to like binary code and stuff like that, and all of us were just like kids were like,
I don't get it. I don't.
Can we play Line Rider? All the subs that just let the kids take a break or do homework or whatever. Because there were some subs who just didn't care what you did. You could catch up on your homework or whatever.
And then
Shout
there
out
was
to you
always
guys.
that
You guys are the
weirdly
best.
mean sub who was just like, the only way to not be eaten alive is to hit him like a fucking...
Yeah, but it's like, what is your bone to
commandant.
pick, dude?
Yeah,
What
dude.
is your deal?
we had a sub that actually ended up getting one of the really cool teachers fired because we were watching in off days where she didn't really have her lesson plan fleshed out. We were just watching the Boondock Saints. Essentially.
nice.
Boondock Saints, the movie.
Yeah,
And-
but they wouldn't let you watch that in school.
yeah, but we did.
She was, but
She was, yeah.
Obviously, that's what got her in trouble, though.
She was dumb enough to let
The sub play it?
sub play it, and the sub told on her, and then she got canned.
Ouch. That
Wow.
There's
What
some
a
people out there who want to ruin stuff for
bitch.
everyone.
It was a dude too.
What a bitch. I don't know. In my opinion, bitch is a pretty gender neutral term.
Right, it is now.
I mean, yeah, I guess I don't know. It definitely is to me, but
Yeah, it is to me. A
But-
dude can be a bitch.
yeah, especially when you do something bitchy as fuck like that.
Right.
That sucks, dude. I can't even imagine being that petty of an individual. Where it's like, because what, like high school, right?
Yeah. It was like junior year.
So you're like of age to watch R-rated movies.
It was like literally one of those fuck off classes because I had work release and it's like, okay, there's like some classes to get credits for like 4 hours of the day.
You called it work release like it was fucking prison.
That's what they called it, though.
No,
yeah,
it was.
I had
that's
like,
what they called it at school. They called it work release.
Yeah,
No,
it was called
else.
youth apprenticeship, but it was essentially work release. So I could like, as long as my job had something to correspond with a class,
Yeah, you could
which
get credit
was
and just go.
tech ed or whatever.
Yeah.
Just go work at the.
I heard they got rid of those programs at the high school, which is just a shame. They were some of the best courses they
Yeah,
offered
dude,
there.
they should have used more of those.
I wish I had
honestly.
gone to more of them when I was in attendance.
You
there.
know
They
how
were some
much
of the best classes
harder
I took.
people would try in high school if they had to do 6 months of a shitty job?
Dude, straight up, like my fucking half my junior year, all my senior year, I was only doing 4 hours of classes.
Yeah,
It was the best.
you remember
But
Liz? She did that too. She basically she was done at like 10:30 or 11, and then just hung out till lunch with her friends, and then went to work. I don't even think she started work till like 2, but she just like didn't tell them that.
But
so she just got to kick it all afternoon.
The thing with the tech ed classes though was kids in there that you always thought were like fuck ups really excelled at those classes and really enjoyed them.
Right.
If they actually got rid of those classes, I'm really disappointed because building a actual structure foundation to roofing was a lot of fun. Fixing those cars and stuff, I had a lot of good times in those classes. I learned a lot of stuff in those. And
like
really
across
hope
the board,
they
usually the teachers were a different kind of like personality archetype.
yeah, and it engaged the students that a lot of times people saw as just like fuck ups. And I'm really disappointed because I actually got
Then
a letter.
again, some of them were kind of fuck ups. Like you'd have the people like sticking rocket engine electrodes in the wall sockets in that unit.
I mean,
lot of those kids,
some of the
you know.
teachers weren't as vigilant. I will definitely give it that. And yeah, some of the kids were still fuck ups, but I did get a letter maybe 3 years after we were out about them wanting to end the program, and I actually wrote like a little paper about why they should keep it. And I don't know if they have it or not.
Please, think of the children.
Yeah, for real though. Like
Those were good classes. You could go
they
right
were.
into those two apprenticeships.
we should legalize pot tax it and give the money to the school so they can have stuff.
So fucking Germantown can fucking put doors on their stalls in the B wing.
It's the bizarre.
That was
Bizarro
where the
world.
tech ed classes were in the high
Bizarro
school.
world, though.
Straight up, the fucking stalls didn't even
Here's
have
the
fucking
thing, though.
doors.
Here's the thing though.
The health
I think
room was
they
right
need-
down from there too, and you're just like, I don't understand.
It was the yeah, because it was basically the gym in those two classes. But no, what they actually probably do need though is a new and better football field.
Yeah, I know. They need to replace the one
What
that's
what is this? Texas?
16 years old.
Yeah, it's 16 years old and it's not quite as white and shiny and pretty as it used to be.
Right.
So we're gonna make it bigger,
That's the thing, though. That
Can
place
you
is
hit
a
us with that
football
inflection
town.
again?
dude. Like,
Can you hit us with that
crazy, so
inflection again?
big.
It's like cultish. It is like cult-like, essentially.
No, and like that's what Stefan was kind of saying about like what is this, Texas? Because that's like huge in a lot of like those, especially Texas, but like in a lot of those southern places, even high school football. is
Yeah,
like a
that's what I'm talking
religion.
about. They spent like almost as much money on an NFL stadium on
Oh,
a high
yeah.
school field,
Especially
in
some
Texas.
of those city ones where like
makes no
where
sense.
you have like a bigger population where you can pull in some real tax money. You see stadiums for high school sports.
I don't get it.
I might actually need a source on that. That sounds a little ridiculous, but
I don't get.
we'll look it up later.
I
I
don't get
encourage
it.
sensationalism here with no founds in reality.
We
I
are
don't-
not investigative journalists, and we do not hold anything we say to be true that are accurate. We are entertainers first and foremost.
I do not get the football deep culture. I understand a lot of people really enjoy football, but I'm not that invested into it, and the drive is just self-destructive, for lack of a better phrase right now.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Like sports I have more fun playing sports than watching sports.
Yeah, absolutely.
Unless
I
there's
think
like
most people don't, actually. I was going to say most
I was
people
gonna say,
do,
but
but
they don't. though.
To second guess yourself on that one,
Like, I mean, it's been obviously harder to play anything as I get older because getting 10 people who don't have work at the same time has become something that's like nigh
And then when they're
impossible.
off,
join the
do they
Milwaukee
really
kickball
wanna-
page.
I
Join the
want
kickball
to
page.
because Corey used to be in it, and like I'd known a bunch of people.
That's the
who
other
were in
thing
and
is
out of
getting
it.
all those people together and then they want to smash bodies, just ram each other.
Yeah, sometimes we have definitely watched some like fun games of football turn into like I think that guy just broke my finger.
I broke Corey's nose.
Oh yeah, you like punched Corey in the face once.
Tried to
Tried to strip
pop the
it,
ball out, and I
and
just
basically just went for like to knock the ball out from your hands and basically just
uppercut Corey.
boom.
I'm so sorry, Corey. I still feel bad about that.
Oh my god.
I feel so bad about that.
I can't imagine you hurting him. Just with the way he's built.
It was his already broken nose that he got punched in though. And it loosened back up.
He was like, "Is it straight now?" It's so funny.
Oh, hey, you saw that, our listeners aren't going to get this, but the fucking Barry Manilow thing, was like, it
Yes.
sent it to him, it was like, oh, young Corey. I said that to Stefan when we bought the same album the week prior. I was just like, cover up Barry Manilow's mouth and his hairline and just look at the eyes and nose. It's Corey.
Yeah, dude. It's our friend Corey looks like a husky Mexican Barry Manilow. He's got better facial hair though. Corey's gonna grow a beard someday. It's gonna
I've
be
never seen
fucking
Barry
hard.
Manilow with hair.
With facial hair.
Barry
Have
Manilow
you
with
ever
facial
heard of that page, Millions Dead Posers?
Yes, you share stuff.
I
from it
fucking love that
sometimes.
page. They had a Barry
it gets
Manilow
spicy.
cover, and it was just it was Barry Manilow's stomach full of cum.
Oh, sweet Jesus, please see us through this.
All right, let's take
That's
a
good-
break.
I think we should take a nod on that.
So that's your podcast, huh?
You've been listening to Radio Loud. You can find us on Podbean at radioloud.podbean.com.
Or you can look us up, Radio Loud, on YouTube, iTunes, Google Play, or Stitcher.
Or you can tweet us at Loud Podcast. Only use caps, please.
All caps when you spell my damn name.
Toyota now officially sponsors Overwatch.
Of course they do.
Speaking of Toyota, I saw something where a Hooters employee,
I like it already.
she won some sort of like it was like a beer drinking competition or something at work, and
Holy shit.
the thing was you were going to win a Toyota if you won this, and then they like blindfolded her, brought her out to the fucking
It's a
parking lot.
96 Camry.
It was a literal like Yoda figure.
Toyota. Oh my god.
And she tried
poor
to
girl.
sue them for it.
I would. Fuck that.
Yeah.
That's so bullshit.
Dude, fuck that though. It's like obviously a gag. Like that is like a fucking gag that's been done over and over and over again. It used to be done on a show called Make Me Laugh, where
Fuck
like
that.
it's like if you win, you win this brand new VCR, and then at the end of it, it's like, yes, you've won this V, this C, and this R. It was like literally like fucking like tinfoil sculptures of the letters.
That is punch in the mouth worthy, in my opinion. Fuck
Yeah, that's slappable. That's a slappable
I mean, I'm not
offense.
gonna like beat somebody like down, but like I would hit you. if
That's
you did
unbelievable.
that to me.
That's
Getting your hopes
yeah,
up.
that's unbelievable to me.
That's just rude. You're gonna
I'd be so mad.
you're gonna make me take time out of my day to do this dumb thing for your content. I'm either gonna not sign your waiver, you can't use me. I'm gonna say something really, really, really crass on your show, so you can't use my you know.
Well, I don't think you can get on the show. Like, it would be at the end of the show where they'd, like, reveal it.
Yeah, I suppose as far as being able to tank the whole thing, but I would love one.
Speaking of Toyotas, I have an article that the Pentagon has decided to ban Hawaii and ZTE at its U.S. installation. So it'll be like government contractors and stuff that they really, have the say over what
When you
is
say
allowed
they're
inside
banning
their-
Hawaii, you're not talking about the state, right?
No, Huawei, Huawei.
It's a brand.
Huawei?
Yeah,
Maybe.
Huawei.
I don't.
Sure.
I can't say
Yahweh.
that. They're banning Jesus from the
But
Pentagon.
they're banning these Chinese-made and manufactured electronic devices, so that'll be electronic devices, which would be like laptops and phones and stuff for security reasons.
I think that's smart because I remember recently there was a story about people. I don't know who discovered it, but there was a Chinese drone manufacturer that had Wi-Fi connectivity, and there was cameras in the drones. They discovered that the Chinese were using this for
To spy.
Yeah, to spy.
Yeah, I'd seen something about some of their plug-in devices maybe had like malware on them. As soon as you plug them in, it was just started ripping stuff off of your computers. So, I mean, I agree it's a smart move to keep them out.
I just love it, though, because it's like they build everything we use. What could possibly go wrong?
Right.
Yeah.
That's like just something crazy. You don't even think about it.
It's going to be that thing, though, where we, like, all our soldiers go to pull the triggers and they just, like, flip a switch. It's going to be like, click, click,
This
click,
does
click,
not
click.
shoot
Oh,
anymore.
no! Although I know we make all our own guns
Yeah.
and shit, because
Got Mossberg and
that's why.
all that other goodie.
Although, to be fair, I've like, seen this memed before, and it's actually, like, quite true, though, that the defense, the defense budget is, like, one of the biggest sources of welfare in the country.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a public works project.
Essentially.
That's what I've said.
It doesn't-
That's what
doesn't-
I've said. Our place does.
Yeah, essentially,
Forever.
it just employs people to build shiny guns instead of working on infrastructure.
And there's also the fact that keeping factories going in peacetime, where they're like tooled to do this kind of manufacturing.
If you ever do need the manufacturing, yeah, you can just amp it up.
Yeah, it's cheaper to keep those running in peacetime than it is to repurpose factories that are tooled for other things.
What I really want to talk about, though, was the future I'm interested in of, obviously we build our own PCs, but making our own phones, each component.
Oh yeah, that's very popular in China. There was
Yep.
a guy who was just on Linus Tech Tips. Like, he literally just did a video with him. He was the guy who built the iPhone through, like...
I have seen that. That's what I want to
through
talk
parts
about.
Sourced
The
through
video,
Chinese markets.
The video's a little older, though, right? Because I had
that
seen it.
video is.
I had seen it 3 or 4 years ago, and I'm
Essentially-
excited for that. That could be really cool.
Essentially, what they had done is they went and just like sourced PCs in like PC parts in a flea market, and they built a PC like right outside of the place.
The one I watched, he built an actual iPhone.
Yeah, well, this was the same guy
Yeah,
that did that
he
years
just
ago.
likes doing
just
that.
like on Linus Tech Tips with him, and he was building a PC for him. He built like a little workstation for him.
I think
but like the
that's
flea market
cool.
shit is crazy.
There, yeah. You got to be really careful too. He said he had to be really hesitant and careful about what he was buying.
Yeah, because you get ripped off.
Yeah.
One of the major issues with Chinese source components is that it's literally just it's like a lowest bidder market where you're seeing the biggest deals. And essentially, buyers will go into factories and buy the defects pile and just put it back into the market and sell them like they're actual good components.
Yeah.
I mean, that was one of the things that... no, actually, because
you're not scum.
Yeah, because I'm not fucking scum, essentially. One of the problems with the first 3D printer I bought, that baby over there right behind you, the power supplies and the boards, the power supplies would crank too much power through the boards that essentially
Fry
were
them.
controlling everything. They would fry certain electric components in it, and they were prone to fires. So
Yikes!
as long as you did your research, it was a very well-known flaw, and like you knew exactly what you had to buy to circumvent it. It's like a little MOSFET board. I don't know what that stands for. I'm not an electric engineer, but
Moss feature.
as long as you just did your homework before you bought it, you knew what you had to do. But I have seen some people who've bought these things and then took a picture of it. It's like, oh, here's a pile of ash in my fucking garage.
Yeah. For real though, that holds true with so many things, and it's crazy to me how few people do this. Doing research before you buy anything.
Right.
Oh, just jumping in on it.
Well,
just
some people just
feet
like
first.
have that kind of fucking money. Like we have a friend who kind of has money that they're just bringing it in, and it's like, wow, you're really spending money, like kind of like frivolously.
Yeah.
Not even like frivolously. It's like if you really were like strapped for cash, like, or you knew that this wasn't always going to be constant, that you'd be saving this money for like a rainy day.
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely.
But I mean, just like the general, I don't know. And then the people, especially though, who claim to then be burned after not doing any of the homework. Like, I'm thinking about like the gaming industry, especially. You have no excuse nowadays to not know exactly what fucking.
My
game
early
you're
access
buying.
game didn't pan out.
Like, they're not releasing a full game. Like any
bought a
game now,
demo,
you
bro.
can jump on Twitch and immediately see what it's like to literally play this game at this exact moment.
I literally just had that thought with what you said, because you've said that in the past. I was playing Off-World Trading Company. If you go to the front page of Steam today, they're like pushing that because they've gone through a few revisions. It's like a really cool game now. It's from the same company that did Sins of a Solar Empire. They actually have like a game client now when you download it. But I was...
God, I hate that everyone wants to make their own fucking client.
I know.
We
You
have
gotta fucking
Steam
sign
for
it.
a reason,
Right.
God damn it! And then
Let's
they go,
vet
"Do
about
you
the
want
one
us
that
to
is-
sync to Steam."
They didn't
Yeah,
make me.
let's vet about
they
the
didn't
one
make
that's
me
really
make a password
fucking
and all that
killing
stuff.
me.
It still worked through Steam. It just had all their other games listed in the client too, which was cool.
Let's vet about Ubisoft real quick.
Fuck. Ubisoft.
Why the
Let me
fuck
say this.
do
Let
you-
me say this though. On the no excuses front, literally in the Steam game description, it says you can expect this amount of hours of content from this campaign, from these different factions, and there's 9 of them.
That's
it
good to
literally
have.
spells out how much time you can expect, because
that's
I
good.
imagine they had a bunch of fucking bitchy consumers who was like, oh, this content's not long enough. They're like, you can expect this many hours out of the campaign times this many times, depending on the factions
if
you
you
play,
wanna replay
and
with
then
different
skirmishes 20 to 30 minutes.
That's cool, and I appreciate that, because apparently everyone believes their single player experience should be as in depth as Skyrim or Fallout with just endless replayability,
Which
and
is
that's just
fucking asinine.
yeah. I think it's a ridiculous
You're gonna
concept.
take some of the best open world games ever made and go, this needs to equal that.
But I really want to vet about this doubling up on clients shit.
Oh,
Ubisoft,
garbage
I hate you
company.
guys
Garbage
for doing
company.
this.
Boo.
I swear to God, every time we're getting to the point in June, I think it is, E3 is going to come around and they're going to fucking start having the live broadcasts of like the keynotes for all the manufacturers. It comes up every year. It's like, please, Ubisoft, just send a rep out on the stage and say, Uplay is now discontinued. Drop the mic.
Oh my god, Uplay's so garbage.
Oh, yes.
There's no reason if you have a game on Steam to double up with another Steam, or what your attempt at it should be.
I don't have a problem with that as long as it fucking works. Uplay has just been notorious for it's worse than fucking games for Windows Live.
Dude, I know it's terrible. It's been hacked because it's fucking garbage security. And it basically makes you sign a terms of service that says we can even try and stay running when you're, not playing this, and maybe look
Yeah.
at other games you play and try, you know what I'm saying? Like, it has a really invasive terms of service. I almost refunded the game I bought because of the terms of service.
But you didn't.
Nope.
Are you having a good time?
Nope.
What game was this?
Rainbow Six. Not having a good time with Rainbow Six?
I am only playing it because all my friends are playing it right now.
I bought it and I've not played it once with Stefan, and that's why I bought it. So I
Come
can
get on and play it
Stefan.
with us sometime.
Hit me up, dog.
The
Okay,
learning,
I'll text you. The learning curve?
The learning curve is similar to League of Legends learning curve.
It's
where
steep.
It's steep.
You get to about level 40, that's when stuff starts clicking. And it does not take that long if you're putting in some time. It is steep though. I will agree with that.
It basically comes down to getting ready to learn a lot of three-dimensional house maps.
It's like 3D chess. There's multiple layers.
So Trump is actually the world's best Rainbow Six player. That's why he's not scared of North Korea or China.
You guys actually want to talk about Trump a little bit?
No. Next.
No, not this week.
Maybe next week
But
when
Stormy,
I'm feeling more
but Stormy
energetic.
Daniels is suing him for defamation over tweets.
I know he's the president. The president of the United States is legitimately being sued by a
Porn star.
I can't
Over
even call her a
tweets for
stripper 'cause She's a
defamation.
porn star.
One of the things that's come out of it is really the fucking vileness of people that I know in real life and these people tend to be people I knew from high school, like some of those leftovers on Facebook, where they are literally talking about, you know, like...
I love that you call them
sex.
leftovers.
That's because I've moved on from a lot of the people
it's so fitting. I understand exactly what you mean, but I love...
And
They're
if you're
that old
listening,
roast
if you're
tucked in the
listening to
back.
this, I know you from high school, it doesn't necessarily mean you,
But it
but
probably
you
does.
probably know who I'm talking about. At least have a few of those. So I hate it how people are talking about like porn stars and sex workers like they're second-class citizens, essentially. It's like, oh, you want to fucking like defend yourself like you have some sort of like code of honor or whatever. It's like, dude, she was just she was just in a porno.
She had sex.
Fuck you. I watched Zack and Mary. I watched Zack and Mary
tried to
made
do
a
that a
porno. They're
lot.
real people.
Yeah, like
I do think that's bullshit though.
if there were no sex workers, there wouldn't be any porn.
Exactly.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, it's like straight
fuck
up.
you, you're
Are you
watching
gonna
it.
tell me you've never like rinked one out?
Fuck you. You're watching it.
Right?
Like,
I mean,
that's-
it's literally the world's oldest profession. for, like-
Are they still a person? Yes.
Like absolutely, and
It's unbelievable.
I just can't. It's like,
I mean,
oh,
it takes,
you're
a,
gonna-
it takes a certain type of person and a certain type of lifestyle, but like at the same time, it's a person.
A
and
promiscuous
lifestyle.
one. And what's wrong with that?
I mean,
That's the thing. Like you would assume they're promiscuous. Maybe they just fuck on camera, and that's not really how they go about the
Okay,
rest of it.
I agree with you. Maybe that wasn't the right way.
It's a
of saying it.
facade.
Maybe that's the right way of saying it,
facade.
but that's not really fair to me to just blow somebody off because they did porn.
And on the flip side, yes, I've seen it where like you have a porn star who is literally at a convention and it's like somebody comes up to him and is like eating their ass out on the fucking like convention floor.
Yeah.
Well, I haven't gone to any of those. so
Photo
I
op.
haven't seen it.
I'm not saying I went to one, but I've seen. I saw a GIF today.
but would
You know, that could be,
if one
you
came
know,
to
though, that could be
Milwaukee,
kind of
would you?
fun if we went to like a porn
Yeah.
thing. It would be like
Yeah.
the Metalocalypse episode where they go to the porn awards. And William Murderface,
He's with his girlfriend, right?
he's with his girlfriend, but she falls down the stairs, goes into a coma, and then she can't say no to him going to the porn awards, and she becomes the perfect girlfriend. I gotta say, Metalocalypse, that show is just absolute dynamite.
Oh God! I sold all my beer and money for little kids' clothes. That's brutal.
Question though, if there was a Milwaukee
Porn awards?
porn awards, would you go?
Yeah, it'd be cool.
It would-
I mean,
what?
from Milwaukee.
no, hope
No, just like hosted, like hosted in Milwaukee.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'd
I
go.
mean, not that there would ever be anything hosted in
That'd be
Milwaukee
fun.
when Chicago.
Why, Sean? You trying to network? Huh? You trying to network?
I mean, a man's got to eat ass.
Gangsters eat the booty.
Gangsters eat the
America.
booty. Do it for your country. Do it for the cunt.
The real question is though,
Tree.
it wouldn't be here in Milwaukee. It would be in Chicago. And I want to know why that is. Why is no one coming to Milwaukee anymore?
Because Chicago's cooler.
Is there some sort of tax
Bigger.
or something?
No,
though?
it's just bigger. And if you're gonna hit the Midwest and our giant expanse of shitty nameless cities, Chicago's the one to hit.
Yeah, I agree that. But I feel like Milwaukee.
bigger market.
Milwaukee has a better charm. You come home, like you
We're
go to
friendly.
Chicago, you hang out, and then you come home to Milwaukee, and you're just like,
Yeah, I feel like
You
Milwaukee
party
isn't
in
as
Chicago.
exhaustive.
You have your like your hair of the dog in Milwaukee.
it is like it's true. They say it is the biggest small town. It really is. Like
Yeah.
people are fucking nice.
I'm just surprised people
Yeah.
don't come here, as a tour date, and then they blow off like the next day or two or whatever, and then
Well, that's
keep
what a
going.
tour is, though. You blow.
But they're going from Chicago. They're going from Chicago, and then they go right to what, Minnesota? Usually,
I don't know. I
or
don't
on the
follow
flip
a lot of tour,
to Philly,
like-
maybe.
Honestly, I've seen amazing like a lot of tours that don't follow like a direct path like that because of when they have to schedule the venues they want. They actually jump like all the fuck over the country over the course.
The ones
of
I look at least for metal bands, is a lot of these guys come from Europe, but they go East Coast and they go around the perimeter of the United States.
You know why? Because they have to. They don't have the money to just
Jump all over.
wherever.
Yeah.
But their plan makes logistical sense.
Yes.
So I'd assume most tours would make logistical sense because that's important when you're scheduling and budgeting.
I mean,
a
it all
massive
depends
tour.
on. Yeah, I mean, it all depends on what kind of artist you are, what kind of venues you're doing, where you're playing.
If you're a big dummy, you don't plan out the logistics.
Hey, now that we're on music, what are you listening to this week, Sean?
Do you want to start us off while I open up my?
Jesus Christ, you guys.
Sean said it.
I have a good
Doug
one.
said we wouldn't be ready for this one before we sat down.
Peter
He was right.
fucking Gabriel.
Yeah.
Okay.
Peter Gabriel. I was on my way to work this morning listening to 88.9, and they just had this one-off from one of his albums. I didn't know what it was. I Shazammed it.
So you got it. You only have a one-off. You don't have a whole album.
No, I have an whole album. I went and checked out the whole album. It's Peter Gabriel, So. And for those of you who don't know who Peter Gabriel is, he was pretty much the engine. He was the main guy behind Genesis in the mid to late 70s with like Phil Collins.
Early 70s.
So he went off and started doing a solo career after that, and in the beginning of it, he kind of had this like weird thing he was doing where he went and he recorded like 3 solo albums, and they were all named Peter Gabriel.
Attaboy.
I know. And the way he explained
Attaboy.
it was like, well, it's like an issue of a magazine. The magazine doesn't change titles.
I like this though. I like this as a concept.
Yeah, I thought that was a cool concept. Like, however, listening to the music, I was committed to going through this one album because
Getting all the way through it because it's important
Yes.
for a lot of music.
the sleeper hit that I heard on the radio was a song called Red Rain, and it is just it's heavy almost. It's a pop song. He's kind of like a prog rock guy. Like Genesis was very kind of progressive when they came out.
I kind of want to put it on, but I only have a live version.
Yeah, we can't.
And we
do
can't.
that.
I wish we really wish we could.
We can listen to it later, but it's very simple. The main drive of the riff is just a full step. It's just very dun dun. It's just 2 notes sustained that really drive the song, and it makes it very memorable. But I did not expect the track after, which was the breakout single that like took him to platinum
Stardom.
status. This was 1986. This album came out. Peter Gabriel.
Did his solo career eclipse his career in Genesis? I don't think so.
No, it
Genesis
didn't.
was big.
Actually, no. Well, I don't think anything he did really eclipsed that. I can't really say. The track after that was a song called Sledgehammer, which everybody knows. It's still played on the radio to this day. It's that dun 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 dun. It has this really cool stop motion music video that goes with it. It fucking reeks of the 80s when you watch it.
The stench is so
Yes.
thick you can taste it.
You could literally taste the 80s just with your eyeballs watching this shit. And then the rest of the album has its like the tracks here and there that were cool, but those are like the 2 like that you had this like really cool song that had a music video but wasn't really a big hit, and then you had the platinum hit that really put him on the map for coming out of progressive into the pop world stage.
I'm gonna check this out. This sounds like a lot of fun.
This was 1986, so this put him on the world spectrum, and then he didn't release another album until 1992. And some shit had happened in his like personal life, and the album was like much darker, and there was like, I don't know, it was kind of a mess of like sounds. I feel like
Probably like how his life was. It sounds like.
not necessarily that. Like I think the darker stuff kind of came more from like the subject matter of the lyrics. The music kind of was just like had like world styles that were just mixed kind of incongruently. The way I summed it up in my head was essentially this was the dry run for the Lion King soundtrack that Elton John did. I feel like that's like the kind of sound it was, 92 going in. I think Lion King came out like 94, 95, somewhere
rough
in there.
take.
You can really hear this kind of style even in Phil Collins' soundtrack to Tarzan.
Gotcha.
But then essentially the consensus is he waited too long from '86 with his like first like really big breakout
To
into
drop
the pop
the
scenes
second one.
to the second one. Yeah, if you would have probably just did
Been
something
a little
sooner.
more consistent with his
Yeah.
release dates. He could have garnered more chugga chugga engine steam.
One of the things that interested me about him is that he had branched off into other media, and that something is like I am interested in myself. Like I wrote music and then got interested in like doing music for film, maybe a little bit too early, and you know, you know how that cookie crumbles. As to what he wrote in like other mediums, I do not know because I only really focused on this album. I didn't make it through the second album.
I'm not super familiar with his solo stuff. I've only experienced Genesis, and when I experienced Genesis, this was like a light toe dipping, and then I pulled my foot out because I obviously, those of you who are listening don't know me, but I am way more into a heavier and so a heavier and darker subset. Although, to be fair, I do love some good 70s rock.
I had mentioned this to a coworker today. I was like, yeah, we're experimenting more with the format of the show. And last week we introduced this thing on the suggestion of one of the members that we...
You can say my name,
Sean
God
Sullivan.
damn it.
Sean Sullivan suggested that we do...
Use all caps when you spell the man's name.
Yeah, but I do like this addition to the format because music is a huge part of at least my life. I love music.
So what he said, he was like, oh, what are you doing this week? I was like, Peter Gabriel. He's like, oh no. Oh hell no. Like this dude's like 50. So he's like, oh no. What do you
got, Sean?
shout out to my boy Jeff if you listen this far. He said he was gonna check out this week, so
Doug's got the shout outs and shit. What do you got today, Sean, for an album?
I just got some of the most bittersweet news in my life. And
she's pregnant?
yes.
Really?
No.
What's the new album for you?
Well, to be honest with you, I know I actually just already talked about this before, but I'm trying to relive the glory of the concert I went to go see. So I've been listening to Apathy's Perestroika this week. Perestroika using a lot of really, really cool like 1980 like Cold War era samples of some presidential speeches, a little bit of Russian in the background. There's like some newscast like talking about, like the sudden increase of like knowledge about Russia and like Russian terms and what they mean.
When did this album come out?
This album came out like just like a year ago, I think, actually. Yeah. Apathy being the absolute fucking content beast that he is. Not only does he manage to produce a solo album like more than one a year.
When you say produce, do you mean just he's
his own
publishing
producer.
it, but is he actually producing?
He's his own producer,
too?
Isn't he?
He works with multiple producers to like make the songs, but he writes them, release them. Like these are all solo album projects by him.
I feel like, just to not like interject and take any steam away from you, I feel like producer nowadays is such an overused term where it's like you have a friend who makes like beats or music and stuff like that. They're like all about that, like, oh, I'm gonna put on this facade that I'm a producer, I'm gonna try and speak the lingo, and it's like,
I totally
the people
understand.
actually making the music at that level, it's just like, dude, you are just stamping cunt on your forehead. And
I totally agree.
It's a red flag.
But this is a guy who has actually been doing this for like 30 years and does actually produce his own music like a lot of the times, or has his good friend Self-Titled produce some of his stuff, because Self appears to show up a lot more behind the boards than in front of him nowadays. But that's neither here nor there.
I feel like that's a natural thing that happens
as you get older. And in fact, when I was talking to him, and I know I talked about this a little bit on a previous podcast, so I won't really dwell on it, but they were even saying that like, yeah, we're probably got, only a handful more tours in us. And I kind of asked, like, why? Like, is there a particular reason? I mean, obviously you've been doing this a while. He's like, yeah, at a certain point, you're like, you get a little older, running around the whole, everything, it takes a little bit out of you. You want to just kind of sit back, like make the paper the other way.
There's also not any money left into it.
I mean, the only money I think really left is in touring.
Yeah, if you're out there selling merch, that's where the artists are making their money. As long as it's not built into the contract, where like even nowadays labels having artists sign the agreements because they're desperate to give them a cut of that money.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I was there. I bought so much merch from them. But do you guys want to hear my bittersweet news?
What is it?
Our one and only baby Corey is on his way to see us.
Tonight?
Right now?
Yes.
Really?
Oh shit!
Yes.
Holy shit!
Bittersweet house.
He's in town?
He will be in Wauwatosa in about an hour.
So that means
my
2
God.
hours. That means 2 hours Corey time. So my album is a jazz album, actually, with Kenny Garrett, which a lot of people probably aren't too familiar with unless you're a jazz enthusiast. He was a member of Duke Ellington's orchestra and Miles Davis's band. And the album this is one of my favorite jazz albums. It's called Songbook. It's completely his own compositions, and then he is supported by Kenny Kirkland, a pianist, the bassist, Nat Reeves, and then drummer Jeff Watts. And I just love this album. It was honestly my introduction to jazz, and I re-listened to it this week, over the course of the week, maybe 2 or 3 times. So he wrote all of these compositions, and then he is an alto saxophonist, and he experiments from using alto saxophone styles to using tenor saxophone styles, and then he has melodic swing jazz to like melancholy ballads. I love this album. It's probably one of my, like I said, it's probably my top.
Is
jazz
it one
album.
of those albums that it's like jazz that when I listen to a good jazz album, it's usually one of those albums where I don't have the the gradual realization where it's like, oh, I'm listening to jazz now, where it's just like fucking long, like like where everybody is like, oh, we are expressing ourselves essentially, but it's literally like
Freestyle jazz.
Yeah.
Okay. I
That's
want to say
never
no to
okay.
that, but
That's
my
never
approach to
okay.
jazz is vastly different. I kind of see jazz. I picture
it's in the name.
I know, but I picture a
The only jazz
saxophonist
I
more
know
like a
is Jazzy
guitarist,
Jeff.
just kind of like wheedling around.
Yeah, but it sounds kind of good when guitars do it.
I
Sax can-
disagree.
Sax sounds good.
My
too.
boy Jeff, I fucking walk in and he'll be listening to like Grateful Dead, and I was at like first
I don't
thing
like
in the
Grateful
morning.
Dead. I
Me
don't-
neither.
yeah.
And I say like, isn't it a little
Sorry,
early
guys.
for wank? That's what the terminology for just self-indulgent guitar solos is. It's called wank.
Well, okay. I'll give you my 3 songs off this album. Sound of the Flying Sound of the Flying Pygmies. A Song of Songs. Oh, sorry, A Song of Song, and then Before It's Time to Say Goodbye. So there definitely is some self-indulgent wank, I guess you could call it. But I never really approached it in that way because I've always
Is
seen
there any other kind of wank?
I've always seen sax more of like expressionist guitar,
Right.
but I guess
That's what made Bill Clinton so cool.
The wank.
He could play the saxophone, and it's a very expressive instrument, you know?
Also,
but
prodigious lip
this was
strength.
definitely my introductory jazz CD for maybe like not even that long ago. It was maybe five years ago was the first time I heard this CD, and I was like, I could get into some jazz. I could see how much deeper this goes, because although I had listened to Duke Ellington and obviously Miles Davis, the king of cool, this one
I feel like
kind of got
Miles
its hooks in.
Davis might be the king of cool, but Mild Davis, he's a little less spicy.
Miles
A little
Davis
tepid.
is the king of cool.
He's
And I think
lukewarm at
didn't John
best.
Cheadle just do a movie as Miles
Did
Davis
he?
too?
I don't
Watch
know,
the
but
fuck
he
out of that.
did do a movie as Captain Planet.
Oh no, that was a fucking joke thing.
I know.
Yeah.
Thanks for catching up. Welcome to
But Kenny
welcome
Garrett-
to the Loudcast. We're
Kenny
Radio
Garrett
Loud, and that'll be our
Songbook.
episode.
It's his full
Nothing but serious shit.
It's his full compositions. and he got nominated for a jazz.
Oh, is his stuff?
It's his full. It's all he wrote everything for it, and then he actually got nominated for a Grammy for Best Jazz Instrumentalist in 1998 for this album.
One of the things I've found interesting about people who are considered like virtuistic in their instruments,
Virtuosos, if you will.
It's that like they'll put out these highly technical albums, and people will just be like, "Wow, this dude's just on another page," and it's like. When you look at it logically, he is literally just publishing exercises that he developed himself in order to like
These are my at-home scales.
To get his chops up.
yeah to get his chops. He just actually applied it to like something musical.
That's how
they're called etudes, essentially.
That's kind of how Sean Lane's stuff is.
That's
isn't
French for études.
Isn't that kind of how Sean Lane's stuff is for?
Possibly, I couldn't say because I don't know the history behind the artist, but I know who Sean Lane is. I love that shit.
But yeah, but his I forgot the name of the album. It's on the tip of my tongue. But his stuff is very scale based for each song.
It's like Samatosa Nabasi's stuff. Like some of it is literally just him developing concepts in the thumb and tapping stuff, the thumping, as a lot of people call it, which came from something that Victor Wooten, the bass player, was kind of like quintessential in developing. But he just essentially went mad with it, developed his own exercises. But I feel like one of the things that when you're doing your chops and you're practicing your rudiments is that you can't just sit there for fucking hours in a day just doing these exercises. You have to eventually, it's like once you have like gotten over the initial concept, had a few days of rest, because like sleep and letting it just like sink in is very quintessential to muscle memory and just letting it kind of permeate your subconscious, essentially letting your brain kind of take over your body and like thinking about it less, letting your body do it more. You kind of have to take those out of the rudiment and get out of just playing this non-melodic thing, or not even non-melodic, non-musical thing, into like applying it to actual music as soon as possible. And I feel like that's where a lot of these like good musicians come from, is that they start applying these concepts that they're just doing rudiments and then doing it in actual music.
I think you should check this album out then. Kenny Garrett's Songbook. It's all his own compositions, and like I said, he's got some serious back history chops with Duke Ellington's orchestra and then Miles Davis's band. I really love this album. It's a good album.
I'm a fan of Ellington.
It's good.
It's actually my Snapchat.
Miles Davis.
So come out to the coast. We'll have a few laughs. We'll do a podcast. It'll be fun.
You've been listening to Radio Loud.
If you want to find us on multiple media platforms like YouTube, just type in Radio Loud, you big dummy. Or you can find us on Google Play, Stitcher, or Podbean at radioloud.podbean.com.
Questions, criticisms, if you would like to get on the show, add us at Loudest Podcast on Twitter.
Ladies and gentlemen, the time is now. It's our only original content, the suggestion box.
Does anybody else have some reads this week?
I got two.
Okay, then I'll let you jump in on it.
Expendables with D-listers, including the likes
they weren't D-listers already?
Including the likes of Bruce Campbell and Tremor's character Burt Gummer.
All right. I like this.
And various other D-list action stars, but at the time of writing this, I couldn't think of too many. Do you guys have any?
Jean-Claude, he was in that, but I feel like he would be like not A-list at this.
He was in Expendables.
I know, that's what I was...
Steven Seagal.
Yeah.
Dude, there's a lady at work, a black lady at work, she loves Steven Seagal, and I can't convince her that he's just lame ass. Like, this was news to her. What a fucking lame ass son of a bitch Steven Seagal was.
So we have our primary team.
Oh,
Burt
yeah.
Gummer, Bruce Campbell, and Steven Seagal.
Steven Seagal's the muscle. That's the joke the whole time. Is he's like
breaking necks.
He's just the whole time like, I'll take care of
I feel like there's a lot of witty overlap, but that's fine. But what are they
I
gonna?
don't
What
feel
are
like
they?
there's
What are they
much witty
fighting?
overlap.
Demons? Are they fighting Russians? What are they up against?
I feel like it's going to be some sort of disgruntled military terrorist takeover where like some sort of sect of the military becomes like fed up with their position and then they have to like take this hostage like
Like a
under
militia
siege
group or an under
situation,
siege
essentially.
situation? Okay.
some like doomsday preppers like take a town hostage.
Yeah, it's a militia.
Yeah.
And like Steven Seagal, Jean-Claude Van Damme, Bruce Campbell, and who was our
Burt
last one?
Gummer. I don't know the guy's actual name off the top of my head.
He's that D-list. We
Right.
don't even know his fucking name.
And Jamie
We're gonna
Kennedy can tag
advertise him
along,
as
too.
The guy who played.
He's trying to patch things up with Reba like as a subplot in
And Jamie Kennedy, who is his son in Tremors, can tag along.
I was
too,
gonna
guess.
ask if we're gonna put him in there, but I don't even think
He's not
D-list.
worthy.
He's not an action
Not
He's
worthy.
not even
an
a-
action lister.
No.
Not worthy.
There's definitely some more we could dig up if I had another lifetime.
But do you
If I had
do you guys
another
like
3
it?
minutes to think about it.
Yeah. Do you guys like it though?
Yeah,
I love it.
absolutely.
I love it. Okay.
Absolutely love it.
Absolutely.
While we're on that, this kind of came out of, I knew Tremors was going to come up this week. Burt Gummer was going to come up.
We love you, Bert.
Gun nut
Bertie.
pornos.
It's a thing.
Snufflix?
No, semi-autoerotic asphyxiation. Claymore cream pie. Full metal jacket. Skeet shoot. And full autoerotic asphyxiation.
Those are just, you got all the porno names right there.
You got any other ones that could potentially be linked to gun nut humor?
Naughty Nades 9.
A household favorite. Oh
we have
my
been
god.
making a military-themed porno joke for probably 10 years now.
We went to a buddy's house and
Who was R.I.P. no longer with
Yeah,
us.
R.I.P.
The
dude.
late, the great.
yeah. But he put some porno on. It's just like, what is
were-
this? Naughty Nades 9?
Because it was literally a girl in like a one-man pop tent in the woods. And like camo pants. Just like
It was the exact stuff you're thinking of. It was Full Metal Jacket.
Oorah, dude.
Yeah, oorah
For
dooder.
real though, it was like, so you just finished basic, huh?
And we're all sitting there kind of scratching our heads.
It was just like in the background as we were like playing drinking games.
Yeah,
and
playing
just, like,
cards or whatever.
yeah, and just like, getting smashed. And every now and then someone would look over and go just like, oh, what the fuck? This is still on? And then we'd all be drunk and forget. And it would just happen every 15 minutes.
Made some Cornish game hen with taco seasoning.
Yeah, we did definitely get drunk and unfreeze and use taco seasoning and paprika spices. to
Everyone,
make
I think
Cornish
everyone
game.
liked them, though.
Oh, they came out great. They were spicy and
I
delicious.
put a lot of work into those. I was like,
There
I can
was
make
a
this work.
lot of flavor.
You gotta read?
Yeah, I do. All right. So this one's kind of based on something that's a little out of your guys' probably knowledge zone. It's in the mobile game theme of Harry Potter. My girlfriend being an enormous Harry
Oh my
Potter
god,
fan.
I know there is a fucking mobile game.
Yes. So
Harry
it is.
Shitter.
It is.
I don't know anything about it, but I know there is one.
So it just came out. It's kind of like Telltale gamey, where it's just kind of like you follow like a little mystery or something. But essentially, what they do then to stop you, since there's no like actual like mission or fight or real gameplay, is they
It's like I Spy.
yeah, and so they basically just make you tap a glowing like something. It'll be like
He's the Quidditch.
it'll be like inspect, and you'll have to tap it 4 times and use 4 energy to look at this thing, and you'll have like a bar you have to fill up. So essentially, you can do like half a mission, and then you have to wait like 2 hours until you have any more energy to like do anything. And if real life worked like that, and you only had a certain amount of energy to apply to certain things, which things do you just completely say not important? What's not worth the energy it takes to do?
To tap 4 times. Getting the perfect balance of hot and cold water in the shower.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Nah, I disagree. I will tap 5 times for that.
Getting the perfect balance of hot and cold water when I'm washing dishes so I don't scald myself.
Oh yeah, fuck that.
Folding my
That doesn't
pants.
matter. Yeah. So.
Look behind you.
Oh, Doug, we know the depths of your
Folding my
savagery.
Plating my food. Stop doing that.
Oh, really? See, I guess it's the details.
I'm not going to spend 4 energy to plate my food.
I'll spend 3 probably. Because you eat with your eyes, man. Have you ever watched a cooking show?
Yeah, but those guys are expending energy for me. Yeah.
Okay, I have one that is titled Funeral Canon.
You
You're talking about like I'll let you go into it.
A person's last wish is to be cremated and shot out of a cannon.
This sounds very reminiscent
like a
of
confetti
Hunter,
cannon?
Yeah.
Hunter Thompson.
Like a confetti cannon?
This comes from like a something I was going over with somebody at work. It's like, okay, so the second part of this is the funeral parlor or whoever is handling the logistics of this they miss the cremation part and just end up shooting your intact body out of the cannon.
Like Genghis fucking Khan laying siege to a city, shooting prisoners over the walls.
Yeah, just
But it's like a
catapulting bodies.
modern cannon or a modern railgun.
I feel like you just rip apart under the explosive force. You would just shoot out blood mist.
Yeah, the red mist comes a waft.
It would just be red powder at that time because it all like coagulates and becomes a solid.
Yeah, if you've gone through the stages of
I feel like the only way to really know is to get a pig carcass and test this out.
Mythbusters.
Let's go Mythbusters it. Let's buy a
We're
pig
digging you guys
carcass.
out. We're digging you guys out.
Let's shoot out some just a corpse with rigor mortis. See if it could. Maybe that was why Genghis Khan did it, not because he wanted to instill fear into his enemies. It's because the bodies were hardened through rigor mortis.
Well, I mean, he did like cows and all that stuff. It was just to spread the disease.
It was also
sickness,
just
and
demoralizing and
psychological.
terrifying because that guy was just a psychopath. Some of the stories about the stuff he did, like historically, apparently he laid down enemies, like his captured prisoners, like cords of wood and stacked them on top of each other with like layers of like boards.
Yeah.
And then had a feast on top of them with like all of his generals and their families, and they slowly crushed these people to death as they fucking like partied in their victory. Like this guy was a fucking nutter.
I mean,
saw something-
they had stories about Vlad doing similar stuff too.
Well, he
though.
was the impaler when the Ottomans advanced.
Yeah, but they have pictures of him drawings of him eating on top of his victims.
Well, he
as
definitely became like a boogeyman to the Ottomans, and whether sensationalized or not, he definitely played into that whole I am the last defender of Christianity against the encroaching Muslim hordes of the Ottoman Empire.
But there's definitely
and
some
he
similarities in those kind of
crazy.
stories.
Oh yeah, totally.
Back
right.
on the diseased body part, I saw a really interesting story today that there's a town, I think in Finland, where you are literally forbade to die there for a very logistical reason. They're like high enough.
It's too much work.
They're high enough into the Arctic Circle that when they bury you, like the tundra is frozen. Mm-hmm. So if they
can't
bury
get you in the ground.
you don't decompose. So essentially,
Just corpses.
anything that could potentially be like a contagion is essentially in stasis with you. So they essentially had to exhume everybody who was buried once they decided to do this, ship them out, and then like if you're suspected to like die, they'd get you out of there before you even have the chance.
Can you imagine?
That's
if you were
interesting
down
because
to
in like
those
Louisiana
kind
and
of
stuff,
problems?
you can't be buried in the ground because of how low the ground is, and then with flooding, so
And
they
on the
have
water table.
Yeah, they keep you buried above ground, so it's
Mausoleums,
basically
and they, after
it's
100
above
years
ground.
of no visitors, they flip you, burn you, and kick you out, and they use your grave for somebody else.
But I'm surprised Louisiana doesn't have something similar to that. But
Can you imagine though being in a country where like your shit's together to the point where what you have to worry about are possible, maybe infectious diseases up in some one remote town that are buried underneath 4 feet of ice? Like we're down to solving those
We're
problems.
talking White Walkers here.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like we're ready for the apocalypse now because Finland was this Finland?
yeah,
I think-
trust me though, they have
Finland
they
is
have more
nestled
problems
right
than
up in that little Nordic nest of the perfect amount of socialism and seclusion, where they have also what's the right word? Responsibly invested all their oil money to where they basically have created a little bit of a utopia up there. A very
You talking Finland or Norway?
Apparently,
all of Scandinavia.
in
Yeah,
Scandinavia,
it is voted one of the greatest places to live.
frozen pizza is so
Like-
popular up there that the jingles,
Jackson shit though.
the jingles regularly place on like the top like Billboard hits of the people.
Yeah, they love like
That's-
Jackson shit. It's weird.
Well,
I
also
love Jack's too.
they
That's what I grew up
probably
on. My frozen pizza choice.
have like either locally or different sourced stuff where they might not be getting the same quality Jacks as us.
That's true.
They might
Right,
actually
they
have-
got that fermented shark.
And because, like, if you're already going to export something, especially if it comes from America, or if they are building it over there, they might have different standards where, like, you can't just export, like, crap cheese and cardboard to people.
We can't piss
I
up
don't
the
know.
Nords. We're gonna sully the pizza deal.
Norway, I can't wait to
They'll
visit.
row over on long ships and show us why we never
I can't
invaded
wait to
Norway.
visit. I
They
can't
had
wait to
oil
visit.
and we never fucked with them.
All right, my next read is based on something we talked about earlier, but school administration framing elementary kids for something. Or
Something that
various
the adults
things.
did.
Yeah. So the adults would, I don't know,
Shit on the track.
and blame it on a kid, or dump art supplies down into somebody's locker and then blame a kid.
or they actually took them and sold them.
I actually have a real life story about something like that happening.
Getting framed by administrative.
Well, twice actually, if we're gonna go like that. I was once physically assaulted by a teacher, and once
Oh, I can't imagine why.
exactly. I was not an.
That was
easy
perfect.
student.
Yes,
I was
as he repeatedly has said in the past, I was not an easy child.
Yeah, I was. But at the same time, you think a professional educator would probably know not to lay hands on a fifth
Yeah, but
grader?
you're something
You
special.
just really pushed the envelope.
You're something special. You know the buttons to push.
I do.
And
But-
you've gotten better, but that came from someplace worse.
Yep. But at the same time, when a fifth grader goes to sneak an extra slice of pizza after everybody has had some during like a special pizza day,
Oh, you dirty street rat.
picking him up by the throat is probably not an appropriate response.
Who do you think you are, Aladdin?
Yeah, and an adult would probably not go full guard captain. Oh my god, I know that guy's name.
How did he find the throat? Didn't you have a beard hiding it?
Not at the time. I was not born with the giant fucking red Brillo
Oh,
pad
bullshit.
that currently attaches to my face.
Bullshit. He came out with it.
my mom got.
I got the
rug burn.
baby
She had
pictures.
wicked hot burn.
But and then another time, I actually I had a teacher, a foreign language teacher, who was spectacularly ill-equipped to handle a room full of high school students. She was a fragile personality, and as such, did not really get normal human interactions, and so would basically call my parents like once a week about like da 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 da. And,
Your kid's fucking weird.
yeah, and like she always had like some crazy shit, and obviously I got like a lot of trouble, and then at a certain points my parents just kind of realized, oh, she's kind of a nutter, and I'm like, I've been telling you this.
I wish my parents had realized that about some of my teachers.
Yeah, and like that's the thing is like I feel like parents find
Suppresses
it hard, easy to
creativity.
forget that like those teachers are sometimes just normal assholes who don't really know anything.
Yeah. Looking back at that, I feel like my parents gave me the benefit of the doubt. Like, from the first time that might have happened, I tried to, like, explain them to it. I kind of got them on my side, and it took a few times before it was like, okay, nope, we're fucking reprimanding you beyond recognition. You are not going to see the light of day for a bit.
That is the one thing I will give my parents at Stefan's parents, where the complete opposite is anytime.
Man, I got it
especially-
heavy, dude.
Yeah,
I had it heavy.
Especially if I got like real with my parents, I was like, nah, like, this is bullshit. My parents are very big on the close ranks. We're the family. No. And like, it was one of those things, especially when I was younger, with like the like fucking laying hands on me thing, where my parents found out from like one of my classmates' mom like heard about one of the incidents and was like, "Oh wow, I should tell her."
said this happened.
Yeah, it was actually like a girl like I had a crush on. She had a crush on me, so we were like, you know, the fucking elementary school version of like whatever, like, "You're pretty."
Oh yeah, I totally had that. I had a girl literally on the first day of kindergarten just like grab me by the face.
That's how it starts.
Just plant one on
You're
me. I was
mine
like,
now.
well, I don't even know what the fucking do with this. And we just kind of pretended that we had this like, you know, you're kids. You don't know what to do with sexual tension. It's not appropriate.
Yeah,
So you just hate it. You call her a doo-doo head. You suck. You cooties. You got...
here's some gum, bitch. I'm out.
This is making me feel weird. I just got doped up. My parents are just like, stick these pills in his mouth.
I went through I went through that phase too, where like I was on the Ritalin so hard. I had to come
My
in at
parents were
lunch.
like, no.
Ritalin, Adderall, all that shit. I was all meth
Parents
up
were
and
just
shit.
like, fuck no.
Just
literally killed my appetite. I was already a
killed my
scrawny
appetite and
little
then
shit. And it was
Here's
just
little
like,
me. I was like, come on, give me some meth.
Yeah, suppressed my
Yep.
appetite and then killed my creativity with fucking pills and shit.
created a little fiend in me though. So there's always
I love
that.
speed.
So thanks for that, big pharma.
That was really funny. Somebody asked me, like, what would be your choice drugs of uppers and downers? And I listed speed off as my top upper.
That's the thing.
They were like,
You
"Did
call
even-" They were like, "Did you even do that?" And I was like, "Well, I did like Adderall and Ritalin, so I mean, one step away,
pretty much
right?"
speed.
They call
it's
it
one
kitty
step
crack.
away. Yeah, it's
like-
one step away.
It's like when you say it like speed, though, like that's not what it conjures.
Yeah. I'd live the Lemmy life.
What's your upper of choice? Speed. What's your downer of choice? Coming down off speed.
So, it's my next read. This is both for the May the 4th and to continue on the Canadian Cinematic Universe.
Doug loves this
The
Canadian
CCM.
cinematic.
I got 2 this week.
The CCU. Sorry, I think I called it.
So this
CCU.
one's an actual character.
Doug
He's-
loves America. Doug loves America's hat.
Yep.
It's his favorite accessory.
They are. There's
Take
American
it
as
off,
us.
put it back on whenever you want.
Turn it around.
They're
backwards.
more North American than we are.
Ooh, they're northern. They're
Shots
northern
fired.
American.
You got a gunshot fired clip over there?
No, I
Do you
don't.
have a Vuvuzela? Do you have a DJ Khaled? Any of these are acceptable answers.
You got the foghorn?
Okay, so
Nope.
the character's name is Jean-Beau Buffet.
Like BEAUX.
So Jean-
As
Plus.
in Buffet.
He's got
No,
Jean
with the
Claude
bow.
Van Damme
Like
and Boba Fett
Bo,
merged
as
into
in
one.
Bo. Yeah, he's the Mountie bounty hunter.
Is it played by
Does
Jean
he
Claude Van
hunt?
Damme?
Is he a Mountie who hunts bounties? Is a bounty hunter who works for the Mounties, or does he hunt bounties on Mounties?
I think he is a
Come on, I need
bounty
answers.
hunter that works for the Mounties. He's kind of like the Canadian Dog
Is
the Bounty
he
Hunter.
is he an ex-hockey star?
He's the wolf.
Yeah, he's
the
an
bounty hunter.
ex-hockey star bounty hunter.
Triple A. He's not a star.
He used to be an enforcer. He didn't know what to do after the league cut him after he just wore out.
But he
so he
still wears his
became a
own
bounty
jersey.
hunter for the government.
He's part of a new team,
But he still wears the
the
old
Canadian
jersey.
team.
He has the hockey hair, and he actually has an excuse to look like that, unlike Dog. This went a lot further than I had hoped.
Dog about to get his ass beat by our Canadian Mountie.
Oh, wouldn't
All
that
I had
be
was
it?
the name and the profession for that.
Dude.
That was it.
Canadian Cinematic Universe Infinity Wars. Dog the Bounty Hunter versus... What's that?
John Dog.
Jean
Boba
Dog
Fett.
Van Mountie Bunner.
There was a Captain
Van
John Dog
Canada.
Van Dam. Damn Van Dog Van.
There was a Captain Canada and the French Fedora that we had already.
I forgot about him.
He's from Quebec.
Well,
He's from
would-
Quebec.
Probably.
he teleports into like the door to like open it.
No. He's from France. He just has a place in Quebec, which he douchily points out anytime somebody asks where he's from.
Let me get that for you. He only opens doors. That'd be great. I like that.
So this could
That's
potentially
a superpower. He can just appear and open a door for you. There you go.
This could potentially be a situation in it. With Kim.
Kardashian?
No, Stefan knows Kim. We had started a. Actually, I was just like really drunk one time, and me and Kim were riffing on some like ideas.
To send her a picture of your dick.
And we were talking about Canadian headlines, and I had set up like a Facebook page called Canadian Headlines, and this is one of.
Are you talking about Canadian, Kim?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Goose
gotcha.
steals local, baby.
Yeah, essentially, yeah. This was a Canadian Headlines: hostages thank captors, but kindly request they be set free.
I have not seen her since Shorewood was playing shows.
None of us have.
She's just loving it up there in Canada, huh?
Who can say? Okay, I got 3 more.
I got one more.
Go for it.
All right. What if we switched up how we watch politics?
Okay.
And instead of
Throw it at me.
C-SPAN,
Would you like to know more?
I think America would. And what if instead of C-SPAN,
If there's
it
a better
was
way, I'm the first one in line.
D-SPAN.
It was a
This is D-SPAN.
It was a pay-per-view event with your favorite political personalities throwing the fuck down.
So
Yeah,
like the political Thunderdome thing.
Exactly.
So yeah, you talking like some idiocracy stuff where the.
I didn't know the president
of the state of America.
Hold on, did any of you guys actually end up watching that?
No.
Please watch that. Please watch that for
Yeah,
next week.
I feel like I might have
Please.
actually just.
Stefan
sourced
has
something
been
that
mentioning
exists.
this movie since day one on this podcast.
I love that movie.
I feel like
Please
I just
watch it.
tune him out when he talks sometimes.
But President in Chief Kamach.
We had that whole
Chief Kamach is in
situation
that
where
movie?
No.
Oh.
I actually don't remember Terry Crews' character's name.
you had post-apocalyptic Bernie Sanders coming out in fucking like leather gear and shit. After he'd been-
here love me.
He had been banished to the waste to bring law to the lawless, and
Yeah.
he just ended up running into like all the other banished congressmen, and they start their own fucking like Thunderdome society. And that's where like the Camacho personality comes in, because they would actually vote on their ideals, bring them to the Thunderdome, and then elect
crush their opponent.
Yes.
Jesus Christ.
But I'm down.
All right, I pitched a movie that already exists. You go.
But I'm down.
Yeah, I mean, I just think it'd be fun to watch Trump actually have to fight somebody.
All right.
I just want to see him get hit in the mouth.
Remember? Okay, wait.
Ask?
Remember when Drake and Chris Brown were supposed to fight?
Oh my god.
That would have been the greatest moment in pop culture history.
Okay. Get this shit.
100 punches thrown, 0 lands.
Just slapping.
Bill Burr, I wish I would have fucking rented this shit on pay-per-view. He was advertising this thing on his podcast. He went and hosted this pay-per-view event where it is literally 40 bouts of just regular people who make wrestling personalities or boxing personalities. It's literal boxing. They get in the ring and beat the fucking shit out of each other.
Okay.
And then there's just a panel of comedians who are just commentating on it.
Oh
that
my-
sounds so good.
That is so
Apparently,
Roman.
it is as good as you think it sounds.
Bill Burr, I usually don't give a ton of credit, but that sounds like the
That
greatest
is
thing I've
the
heard.
most decadent Roman we are all about to burn and the society's collapsing thing I've ever fucking
I mean,
heard.
the fucking Floyd Mayweather fucking
yeah, we make people...
fight was $99. This was $15. Next year it comes around, we gotta fucking get together and watch it.
He's doing it again. It's an annual thing.
It's an annual thing. This
oh
is like
my god, I love this man
this
right
was the
now.
4th thing. No, this was the first time he went and did it. He got invited to like commentate on it, but it's an annual thing.
Who is actually hosting this?
I don't know.
That's brutal.
I do not know.
This
I will
is
have
hilarious.
more
Get us the
details.
name of this
Because you know
event.
how many
Details!
you know how many macho personalities probably sign up just like I'm gonna
Let's
beat
get
some ass.
Steve-O in there.
And then they just get winded and then they collapse.
Yeah, dude, I want to see Steve-O
Dude,
after
that
one
happened a couple
round.
times. Like, there was a guy who essentially, like, went up against his opponent and fucking was like, what the fuck's he doing? He's just, like, getting slammed on, and he gave the fucking wink, and he essentially just
Turned it.
waited for his opponent to get tuckered
winded.
out and just fucking slammed. Like, just took
I
him
love
out.
this.
Dude, it's the Homer Simpson approach. If you ever seen the one where Homer learns to be a boxer.
I
Yeah.
love it.
And
I
it's
love
basically
it.
like, let him hit you till they get tired.
When's-
and then
when's
just
the next
push 'em
viewing?
over.
And
Usually.
I don't know. It's like a year off from now. I know it's annual.
Because it just happened.
But
I'm sure we can get
within
footage
the
of
last
the old
month.
one, though.
So essentially, like, you expect people. There was talk of somebody just like showing up in the pink Power Ranger uniform, and they took him off stage afterwards. And there's like, hey, by the way, like, why you dressed up like the or the pink Power Ranger? Is like, because she's a badass bitch, and I'd fuck her any day. And they were talking about it like. He said it with the confidence like this would be a prime opportunity for her to fuck him.
Hey, baby, if you're out there watching from the 1998 release, I'm talking with the Dynamax. At me on Twitter. I am Cheesy Leaf 6. Should almost do like 2 more takes because I think I was kind of talking over your first bit of your intro because I kept trying to make the joke.
Doug, are you introing it?
Just let
are
me
you gonna
make the
intro
fucking
in with
joke.
that again?
Pretend there's an umbrella in your drink.
You want to intro in with that again?
Just come out to the coast. We'll have a few laughs. We'll do a podcast. It'll be fun.
You've been listening to Radio Loud.
You can find us across multiple media platforms like YouTube. Just type in Radio Loud, you big dummy, or search us on Google, Stitcher, or places like Podbean at radioloud.podbean.com.
Or if you have questions, feedback, or criticisms, add us at Twitter. Or if
We
you
are
have
Twitter.
questions. That's the magic of editing, Sean.
Just let him keep going.
Or if you have questions, feedback, or criticisms, add us on Twitter at The Loudest Podcast.
But prepare to be roasted.
Let's do it one more time.
Now, what I'm going to suggest is when you end your sentence, don't end it in an uptick in your vocal inflection.
little more-
Just don't say, it's like, you've been listening to Radio Loud, anticipating him to come in. It's like, you've been listening to Radio Loud. That's
Gotcha.
the end of your...
All right, let's do one more read in.
Gonna fucking wait for the snowmobiles to stop racing.
Welcome to Wisco, baby.
Still snowmobiling season.
Oh, come up to the north. We'll get stuck in a cabin. We'll freeze our asses to death. It'll be fun.
We'll have sex on top of a grizzly bear.
You've been listening to Radio Loud.
You've been listening to Radio,
Radio
Loud.
Loud.
One more time.
Try 'em one more time. You've been listening to Radio Loud.
No, not Radio Loud. Radio Loud.
You've been listening. What is this? Fucking Toast of London?
Should be.
I don't think Doug's ever seen that. You've been listening to Radio Loud.
Nope.
Nope.
You've been listening to Radio Loud.
Nope.
No. Not you've been listening to Radio Loud. You've been listening to Radio Loud.
You've been listening to Radio Loud.
Nope.
No,
It's
not
a single
Do you
sentence.
hear how you're
Yeah,
going
I do.
Radio Loud?
I do.
Go Radio
You've been listening
Loud.
to Radio Loud.
Perfect.
Nailed it.
Now just do it while everybody else is being silent.
Okay. You've been listening to Radio Loud.
Now louder with confidence.
Just give him.
I'm sorry,
just
dude.
give
He
him a
hasn't
minute.
seen the
Yeah,
show. He
I
hasn't
know.
seen the show.
Dude, it's because it's probably based on something real like this.
Yeah, it's a voice actor.
Yeah,
it's a professional
it's
voice
about
actor.
a professional voice actor, and he just can never get the takes right.
and he has two dudes who just fucking harass him from the booth constantly, and like they fuck with him, like they make
It's
him
on
reread
Netflix
shit
if you
up.
want to watch it. It's
It's
hilarious.
BBC
We should just
sitcom.
publish this whole bit of us trying to do an
dude,
ad. We should just be fucking totally real about it.
We are incompetent.
You've been listening to Radio Loud.
Nope.
See, you went Radio Loud. You need to go
Radio
Loud. You need to go down instead of
You've been
up.
listening
Radio
to.
Loud.
You've been listening to Radio Loud.
Okay. Take a minute. Just take a 5.
Fuck you, wankers!
I don't know. Just try to think.
You've been listening to Radio Loud.
Try to think of it like a single sentence. Here, you know what? I'll do it for you. Hey guys, you've been listening to Radio Loud.
Don't give me a hey guys, because you don't want to be the hey guys YouTube dude.
Fair enough. You've been listening to Radio Loud. If you want to find us on multiple media platforms like YouTube, just type in Radio Loud, you big dummy. Or you can find us on Google Play, Stitcher, or Podbean at radioloud.podbean.com.
If you have comments, questions, or commentary, please get at us on Twitter at Loudest Podcast. Fuck.
Slide up in them DMs, baby.
If you have questions, commentaries, okay. If you have feedback, questions, or commentary, please add us at Loudest Podcast on Twitter.
Get roasted.
You've been listening. You've been listening to.
We should put this
Radio
on
Loud.
Patreon, dude. Like, this is what you would get on Patreon.
You've been
You wanna
listening
hear
to
me say
Radio
slurs?
Loud. You've been listening to Radio Loud. You've been listening to Radio Loud.
But do it with the loud voice confidence.
You've been listening to Radio Loud.
You're getting worse.
You've been listening to Radio Loud.
No, not Radio Loud. WNBC. There was a whole bit in the Howard Stern movie about his boss named Pig Vomit, who was played by prominent actor. But I will show you his face afterwards. I can't think of his fucking name right now. But he did this whole bit about how his boss would just fucking roast him when he went to this nationally syndicated platform. And he was just like, you can't do this. You can't do what you were doing anymore. You can't do what got you here. And he started calling his boss Pig Vomit on air.
You've been
And
listening to Radio Loud.
he was on the same station as Don Imus before he got fired.
Oh, nappy-headed host.
And he would just be like, okay, listen to how Imus says it. It's like, and he'd bring him in the room with Imus.
You've been
and he'd
listening
be like,
to Radio Loud.
Imus was in the
Yeah, you're closer. You're getting
You've
it.
been listening to Radio Loud.
Radio
You've been
Loud.
listening to Radio
You
Loud.
sound like a sex offender.
I know, that's kind of what I'm going for.
It's kind of what you're known for.
Maybe start higher with your.
You've been listening to Radio Loud.
He still did it though. He still
been-
did it.
You've been
Sean
listening-
gets what I'm after though. He knows what I'm talking about. He
It's
knows
called
what I'm.
vocal fry. There's
You've
literally a term for it.
You've been listening to Radio Loud.
You still did it. How are you?
You've been listening to Radio Loud.
You've been listening to Radio Loud.
You've been listening to Radio Loud.
Yes.
Yes. Oh.
You've been listening to Radio Loud.
Here, how about? Can I just say it in your ear 10 times in a row, and then
No,
just
he
mimic-
got it. He got it. He got it now.
You've been
It's like,
listening to Radio Loud.
perfect. Okay, it's like, okay, so come up to the Northwoods. We'll get a cabin. We'll have some fun. We'll do the podcast. We'll get together.
You've
Okay,
been
come up
listening-
to the Northwood. Okay, come up to the Northwoods. We'll get together. We'll freeze our asses off. We'll do a podcast.
You've been listening to Radio Loud.
That's what I'm saying. He needs to hear. Can we let's say it to him 10 times? He'll do the cut, and we can edit it into the middle later.
I think
You've
we
been
already got-
listening to Radio Loud.
Yes. One more time.
You've been listening to Radio Loud.
We need to do it one more time because Sean fucked that take up for you.
You've been listening to Radio Loud.